am ready to go then. All right. So downloading replays. Why don't you guys give me a little bit of a background about your group, like what you guys wanted to work on today, specifically, like team movements, individual players. Because basically, an overview. When I usually do team coaching, what we do is we watch replays, and then we'll take moments where we'll like watch one lane for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and talk about things that are wrong or things that could be done better. And then we'll like rewind and go watch a different lane, and then we can like poke around as you guys need. Were you guys in all of these games together? Were these all 5 stacks?
Yeah, these are all 5 stacks with all of us. But
Okay.
yeah, I think in general, I think things we want to focus on are probably none of us really like mid. And I also don't know. I feel like none of us really ever win mid, or I guess when we do win, it's like that doesn't really translate that well into like winning the game later on either.
Okay.
And then I guess also maybe just generally what each role should be doing.
Yeah, I think what you mentioned earlier about like, oh, we're gonna just like look at each lane, because I think all 5 of us kind of play like all the roles. So I think that'd be really helpful just to kind of, you know, it doesn't really matter who to look at. It's just look at the lanes and kind of analyze what's going well, what's not going well, and then I think all of us will learn.
Okay.
Since we don't really have defined roles.
That's great. I think that makes it easier because then if we're watching somebody else's lane, then everybody can learn from it. And sometimes roles do get a little flexible, especially depending on what heroes you're playing, because some heroes can't play their role the exact right way, so other people have to make up for it. So we'll probably get examples of that. Do we want to go through the replays and the list that I was sent?
That was just in chronological order. So I think the first 2 on that list are probably the ones that we wanted the most feedback on, probably, because I think those were both games that we thought were winnable, but we just ended up not winning.
Every game is winnable, guys. Come on. But some definitely feel more in grasp for sure.
Okay, this one.
Well, I think another thing is like, especially when I'm playing support, it feels like sometimes I'm like not doing anything. So I think that's like a big hurdle for a lot of us too, where it's just like, what should I be doing when it's like, okay, well, if I'm not pulling, should I be ganking, or like where should I be, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I will definitely be able to point out times that you're not efficient. You guys are Dire team, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, hero pick wise, your lineup is a little carry weak. You basically just have.
We random this game. I remember.
You random this game.
I did. There's no
It
way.
was the first pick random. It wasn't like a brief random.
But
It was end of the night random. Like, you know what? We haven't won a game all night. We should probably random.
Okay, that's it's an interesting strategy, but it can work.
It was the closest game we had all night. So.
Okay.
You know,
It was because of this game. I went to bed with a headache, dude.
It was that
This
bad,
is like
huh?
5 a.m.
Oh, okay. Only major mistake I'm noticing is not getting Maledict level 1. I think Maledict is way too good to pass up on Witch Doctor.
Oh.
Just because Cast doesn't do that much. It gives you, basically like helps you get a couple right clicks in, and it possibly saves your life, but it doesn't give you very much offensively. Whereas instead, imagine if you Maledict Venomancer, and then you right click him 4 times, and Weaver Sakuchi's through and attacks him another 4 times. That guy's going to lose like 3/4 of his HP. So this is a common mistake that I see on Witch Doctors. Maledict first is almost always the right thing to do, unless you have like a really passive carry like a Spectre or something, and they have like a crazy good dual lane with 2 stuns. Then I might get stun or heal instead, because then you're not going to feed. But probably 95% of the time I get Maledict first. So I'm sure you get Maledict next, but it's really good by itself. I mean, it does, what, 7 damage times 12? So that's, what, 84 damage alone? Which is more damage than what Cask does if it doesn't bounce to the target back. And then any damage you deal during that is amplified by 16%, basically. So, including your right clicks, it's really good. And Witch Doctor has really good damage. You're hitting for 57 on average with 1 Ironwood branch. So, like, Maledict is busted good. Like, you should just be going on Veno, basically. You could probably burn his salve instantly with the first Maledict and not miss more than like 2 last hits, for reference. Okay.
Wow.
Other than that, everything else looks pretty normal. But generally, most of your guys' items look really solid. Generally, you want to pull Tangos to Pugna. Is usually better. He can get to, or the mid player. That's one thing you guys could do to get them ahead just a little bit. This is fine. Not a huge deal. Usually you get tossed first on Tiny. Was this the guy that randomed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason when you play Tiny 4, what you want to get is boots and toss. That way you can like find somebody over here and then toss them back to your ally. And when you do that, you put that guy in a 2v1 situation where Enigma and you get to right click him a bunch until he gets back to his teammate. So that's the value of toss. If you just go avalanche like this, your hero with 0 armor and decent movement speed, but like having the boots is just generally better. How did you get boots so fast? Just because you randomed, I guess.
I think we
Yeah,
got
it looks like it.
some of the
Yeah.
rings. Oh, I guess so, yeah. You saved up gold.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess because you only spent about 200 here. Okay. All right. Well, this build is sick then. Nice job. Except you don't have toss. That's the only thing you're missing. The random tiny into fast boots purchase. Like right here, if you toss back to Enigma, Enigma could use demonic conversion. You attack, for example. Oh, I forgot to ask. What's your guys' average MMR?
Around
Average.
2K, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's around the same.
No, we went from like, I imagine
I'm
like,
like, yeah.
2 to 3, I think.
yeah.
I'm the lowest one for sure. I'm like about like 1K ish, like
Okay.
low tier 1. Okay.
Yeah, I think our middle right now is around. Wait, actually, I don't know what Morgan is.
I'm like 3K.
3K,
Okay.
Okay.
So you're between 1 and 3K basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Oh, it's close enough for sure. I'm sure it's not that weird to play party games. Enigma, first mistake. You need to use demonic conversion pretty much constantly, and you should usually use it to deny your range creeps as they come in. Because if you deny a creep here, no enemy is around to get experience. Like when a tree falls in the woods. So basically, first creep, deny the range creep, and then pull up and get last hits with your Eidolons. If you're not doing that, then you're playing a shitty hero with 46 damage, which is not very competitive. So it's very important that you at least use Eidolons constantly to deny farm and experience. It's like part of the game. Like Dota is it's like a lot of mini games in the first 10 minutes. It's like you need to last hit correctly. You also need to zone your opponents. You also need to pull. You also need to disrupt your opponent's pulls. You need to harass them when they're out of position. You need to kill them when they're really out of position. Things like that. So understanding a couple of these tricks on every hero can really make a big difference in getting an advantage. And this whole time as well, your mana regen has been ticking. 0.9 per second has just been wasted ever since you started the laning stage because you haven't even cast a spell yet. So that's another aspect that's generally like you guys are basically letting them win this lane because you haven't really done much skill wise. And this guy feels comfortable running at you because he's like, oh, they have no damage. They haven't used any spells yet. But you could just delay him getting 2 basically, and that's typically gained by denying creep waves to limit experience gain. But you can do it in a more extreme fashion with demonic conversion. I think this is like the only way to do this right now, more or less, because Lich is out of the game in terms of sacrifice. So, but basically, you guys kind of put yourself in a place with your play that you're not really doing anything to win this lane. Pretty much, you can run at CM a little bit and slap him, but it's just gonna go okay.
Yeah.
And other than that, like all you're doing is sitting around and getting last hits slowly, but not well. You've only got 1 last hit here at a minute and a half, so that just needs to be prioritized a little more, I guess. Because I don't know, like I guess my general thought is that there's a lot of people at lower MMR that basically just sit in their lane, and all they really do is go for last hits and denies, but they don't do a good job winning the lane. And you win the lane by, like, your steps are this. This is like going to be every single lane in the game, except for maybe mid where it's a little bit more passive. You fight your opponent, and when you fight your opponent, it's called trading because they do damage to you, you do damage to them. And then whoever runs out of regen first needs to bring more regen, or they lose their lane, right? But that regen trade never happens if you don't fight. So what's happening in this lane is not only you're not using demonic conversion, but you're not really fighting that much. Partially because Tiny doesn't have toss. If he did, it would be easier to like force CM in a bad trade. Like for example, right now CM's in a bad position. She's surrounded by 2 heroes. If she right clicks Tiny and both of you guys right click her back, she's gonna lose that trade. She'll take more damage than you guys take, and she'll have to run away, recognizing, oh shit, I'm losing this trade. So this is like a moment that you want to abuse basically, and you guys did go for this. You saw she's out of position, you get a bunch of right clicks in, and now she loses a whole lot of regen and loses this trade, and you guys can go back to last hitting. So like the laning stage is a huge amount of like small instances like this. But also in between you should also be getting last hits. But a lot of players genuinely just sit here passively. Supports will sit behind the creep wave like this and just wait to deny. That's a shitty way to play Dota. It's better for you to play where CM is to the side. mostly because of creep aggro. I assume you guys know how that works. You've had it happen.
Yeah.
You stand in the wave, you right-click an enemy, and all of a sudden the creeps run at you and start attacking you. So what you do instead is you want to stand to the side, which is usually in this area instead. You want to stand here. That way, when you right-click them, you aren't aggroing creeps, and therefore you're going to be getting free or harassing without taking extra creep damage, which will make the trade more even.
What is the range for creep aggro, by the way? That's something that was confused me.
It's probably like 300 units, something like, if we're looking at this creep here, it's something like this. So most range heroes will be able to attack outside of creep aggro, no problem. But the reason they hit 2 before you guys is partially because the lane is pushing. I guess they haven't really gotten that many denies. I was going to say it was denies, but it's not. But they shouldn't probably hit 2 before you guys, effectively.
And there's like 3 range creep right there, right?
Yep.
That they have.
And you'll get a lot of that experience back. But imagine if you've been denying a lot of the range creeps with a demonic conversion, then they don't hit 2 as quickly. Maybe they don't feel comfortable going for that kill. Part of the reason you maybe died was because of Curse of Avernus, or because CM had 2 nukes instead of just 1, you know? And now you finally use demonic conversion, which is fine, but yeah, it's just better to deny the allied creeps. It does a lot more than you getting a last hit, typically, in the lane, because once you deny one of their creeps, you have more attack damage because you have the demonic conversions anyways. So you should be able to get all the last hits and denies anyways, in most cases, because Abaddon with 64 damage can't compete with 49 plus 20 times 3. So it's like almost 100 damage that you deal. So that's part of the reason, like, why in the past, like, small base damage nerfs happen is, you know, because if whoever has more damage has a better chance to get all the last hits, more or less. Okay, so that's this lane is kind of weird, probably not worth watching that much anymore, because the general principles are going to be a little bit wacky, because you guys weren't quite sure what to do, but yeah, Tiny's goal basically is toss people back into the Enigma, and then you guys right-click them a bunch. If you do that 2 or 3 times, CM runs out of regen, and then she can't zone. And when that's the case, then you can start bullying the shit out of Abaddon instead. And then if Abaddon gets bullied, then he doesn't last hit either, and now you've won the lane completely. So that should be your goal in every single lane, either safe lane or off lane, if possible.
Got it.
So support, that's mostly the support's job initially, is to trade hits with the enemy support, or pull in between. Let's go back and watch the beginning of the safe lane. So this is good that you're playing from the side. The downside, so this is one mistake you made here. By retreating this way, you're basically giving up ground, and now for you to right-click again, you're behind the creep wave, and you're going to take aggro. So rather than running back here because you felt scared, you should always run to the right. So when you're playing on the inside of the map in the laning stage like this, it's the same principle. If you're standing here and things look dangerous, you run to the left. By doing that, you're spreading your hero away from the enemy carry, which means that it'll never be a 2v1 basically. This, like, it's okay to run back to safety, like towards the tower, if you think this guy can kill you in a 1v1. But in reality, this Venomancer can't. He only has 45 damage and 1 point in Poison Sting. And you probably got scared because you're thinking Gale or something like that. But if you see the buff icon on your hero, you realize I'm taking Poison Sting damage.
Whoa.
That was really...
Oh my.
Who's snacking?
Like a bag of chips
Who's
or something,
snacking?
Tim?
Mute your mic, Tim.
You're gonna have to mute your mic, sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So,
Oh, what is? Oh, just
Go-
a quick question.
yeah.
What's like the right build to go first on Venomancer? Is it Poison Sting or is it Gale?
Gale only does about 75 damage level 1, but it gives a good slow, which is kind of good. So hypothetically, you could get Gale, knowing that Legion and you would attack people out of position. Poison Sting's fine. I would probably usually get Poison Sting into Gale, just because it's gonna technically do more damage over time, because after 6 seconds, you basically have to apply it twice to get the same damage as Gale. But basically, Veno's kind of a shitty laner at level 1, so there isn't really an amazing choice, but maybe go Gale for bounty rune fights, something like that. But anyways, imagine if you had Maledict here, and this guy fights you in the side jungle, you just Maledict him, you right-click him, and he has to walk away. And then while he's waiting for Maledict to run away, you right-click the Legion like 3 times, you know? But instead, you retreated to hide behind the creep wave, and now you're not really doing anything. Because what's going to happen is every time... It's not as bad because Weaver's a ranged hero, but if he's a melee, every time he comes up to get a last hit or deny, he's going to get right-clicked by 2 heroes instead. And you might be able to right-click them back 1 time, but what's going to happen is your carry is going to lose a lot more regen because you aren't doing a good job trading. And you've thrown a cast, going to happen to hit Veno twice, but if it didn't, at most you get 2 right-clicks in there. Like, you basically did nothing, and he was in no way threat of dying. And now he knows your stun's on cooldown for a long time. But if you sit over here, where there's no safety of creeps and no worry about creep aggro, you can, if you trade better against this guy, you can basically fight him to the death. Like, you can probably kill him first because you do so much more damage than him. I would assume. I might be wrong because his armor is a little bit higher than yours. But by standing in this area, you aren't really giving yourself a really good... This was okay. That was a good moment. You didn't have stun, unfortunately, when he was tanking 3 creeps. But like, playing on the sides is correct, but you just got a little too scared here. Now you definitely can kill. You guys should kill Venomancer right here. That was a kill opportunity in that very moment. Because you just got Maledict, and you have stun, and Weaver can easily follow up. So as soon as he came to here, you guys should have turned and gone on him. So you did it. You're just a little... See how you're just like a couple seconds slow?
Yeah.
All that makes a big difference. And you see how easy it was to kill him? And the only difference there is that you guys are level 2, you had Geminate, and technically a stun and 75 magic damage. But that's like almost no difference. Geminate's probably the biggest change. So that kill could have happened literally as the lane started, or you could have super zoned him to burn through his regen a lot quicker. So like what's basically happening is against better players, they're going to notice those vulnerabilities earlier than you will. They won't get out of position. They won't necessarily die. And then the game's going to get harder. But if you guys notice those kills faster and are ready to trade instantly as soon as the lane starts, then you can, on a faster timer, get them zoned out of lane. And imagine like if you run the Venomancer out of regen like 60 seconds earlier, that's like 60 less passive gold that he has to buy regen. Maybe he doesn't have enough to buy a Tango, you know? Like, the quicker and the more efficiently that you do things in the laning stage is going to have a bigger impact because he's not going to have as much time to catch up. And he won't have as many levels to stabilize and all of these other things. This harassment is good. I'm glad you're slapping him here. When the wave is pushing like this, if you have more than one range creep, that means the lane's going to push. It's a good time to go pull if you think your carry isn't going to die. In this case, your carry probably isn't going to die because he's a Weaver, and it's you're up against a Venomancer. If you pull, every small camp is about 100 experience, and it usually kills at least 1 lane creep. So much like the demonic conversion on from Enigma, the 9-1 creep is a nice small advantage that will help you stay slightly ahead of your opponents in gold and experience. This is one of the big downsides to Clarities, is that when you use them, you feel scared to do anything aggressive because you don't want to lose your Clarity Potion. This is part of the reason that Mangoes got so popular, because this whole time that you're sitting back here, Legion is enjoying a free lane in the fact that he's able to get every last hit and deny without being harassed. And the Venomancer's been gone a bit, but if you had instead like not Clarity'd at this moment, you could instead have right-clicked him like another 5 or 6 times. So you gave him a little bit of space in the lane to once again not zone him properly. And he really hasn't gone through that many Tangos yet, for example. You do go back to pull though, which is good. And Weaver's not going to get every last hit, unfortunately, because he doesn't have as much base damage as Legion Commander. But at least the pulling is going decent. Got the deny, which is great. Holding this outside the tower range, which is really good. I like this. Last hit there is solid. You should probably wrap around. This is another mistake. Instead of going this direction to go reinforce the Weaver, I'd prefer it if you walked around this way instead. Like behind the tower. Because at this point, you guys have the much easier... Like, you can kill Venos so many fucking times in this lane. And he's also revealed that he has fucking Plague Ward, and he's level 2. How does this guy defend himself, you know? Every single time that you Maledict him, anywhere within like 1,200 units of the Weaver, he dies. Every single time. His only salvation is teleporting. So you guys should recognize this, and it's almost always the support that you want to bully. And this is one of the reasons that Veno isn't played very much at high MMR is the support, because he's really vulnerable and he doesn't do enough in the laning stage. So rather than walking this way back to lane, if you walk here and you see Veno over here, the gank is a little hard, right? You have to throw stun and gap close just to Maledict. And then Weaver has to run farther. If you walk around instead, yes, you're slightly more vulnerable because you're not by your tower and you're not by your Weaver, but you're going to be okay. Worst case, he gales you or something, and they right-click you a bunch, maybe you die. Or he gales you, and you teleport to the tower or something, you know? Like, it's a little scary, but again, if you get in trouble, you run to the right. That way, if Legion Commander wants to come, he has to run a really far away from the creep, a really far distance from the creeps. If you get galed here and you try to run this way, you're running through the Legion Commander, and that's not very safe. So you basically want to fight in a place where your carry can help you, and that's why it's nice that you have Weaver in this case, because he can gap close quicker and add his damage. So if you run this way instead, all you need to do is get parallel or behind the Venomancer, and he dies every fucking time. Every time he comes forward. You're going to kill him like 4 times, and then he's going to be like, what do I do? And yeah, you're not necessarily killing Legion Commander that much, but once Venomancer starts playing more passively and sits like back here, then you just kill Legion instead, or you pressure Legion instead. So that's what you guys should be aiming to do in like almost every laning stage. It's just the formula is a little different depending on what heroes you're playing. The Weaver Witch Doctor lane is really strong. The Enigma Tiny one's okay, but you just played it a little bit wrong with the toss, not being skilled at level 1, and with you not using demonic conversion enough. So now you're basically playing this laning stage from a standpoint where you're behind. Any questions so far from anybody?
I got a question. So go back to top lane, and I see that like in the few polls that we got, the enemy team doesn't contest it. But imagine a scenario when they do contest it. How do we respond to that?
Okay. So there's a bunch of different circumstances that can happen. Let's say you do a single creep wave and you pull it. The best thing that they can do is to interrupt this by attacking the neutrals once themselves and running a different direction. That's like interrupting a pull, basically. The creeps are running this way with you up here in the front. They attack it once and they run left. The creep goes this way and then it aggroes back and no creeps are aggroed. That's the best response they can have. Let's say instead the neutrals walk up and they aggro to the creep wave and the creeps are running back to the neutral camp with the creeps. The best thing they can do to respond is to stand in the way here, tank a little damage while the creeps attack them and de-aggro from the neutrals, and then they walk left with the creep wave to go back to the wave. That's the second best thing they can do. The third best thing they can do, let's say the creeps aggro, they run to the camp, they can come over here and just stand in experience range. That way when the neutrals die, they at least get some of the experience, because it'll be split half and half with you and them. The fourth best thing they can do is get last hits on the neutral creeps. The fifth best is get last hits on the neutral creeps and on the lane creeps. So your defense is basically prevent them from being close by if possible, prevent them from interrupting the pull, prevent them from last hitting the neutral creeps because you last hit them instead, and prevent them from getting last hits on the creeps by you denying them instead. Because remember, it's all about experience basically. So it's all about the last hits and the experience. So you're trying to make sure that they get less than they should. If that makes sense.
So the Witch Doctor in this case would stand between like the small camp and the big camp to kind of protect. Is that what
you can do that? Yeah, that would be easy to do because then you're fully zoning, right? If you know you beat Veno in a trade, and he comes over to try to zone it, sure, throw a Maledict on him and right click him 4 times. It's okay if you're not there when the creeps die. It's better if you get a little experience, but it's not a huge deal because you're preventing him from splitting it with you basically. So. If you can zone them from the area, then that's fine. If you don't feel safe zoning, if you're using a clarity potion, if they're stronger, if you're worried that the off lane will rotate over and fight you, then you can play more passive. You can like sit here because your creeps will give you vision of this area and just try to get the last hits. It's a really good opportunity when pulling to use spells to get these last hits. Witch Doctor's not amazing at it because his nuke isn't like instant and it doesn't do a lot of damage. But if I'm playing like Pugna in the offlane or something, I'm totally down to use a Nether Blast to do 175 damage so that I can get the last hit on like a large neutral creep. Because I know that's going to be like 70 gold. And it's like a bounty rune, you know? It's not just that you're getting 70 gold, it's that they're not getting 70 gold. So it's a 140 gold swing if you get those last hits. So it's really important to use spells in these. It's not like super important, but it's very nice to use spells in these moments to guarantee those last hits to make sure that your opponents don't get as much golden experience. Because again, it all catapults and snowballs. Did that make sense? You could also pull through if you want. Most people don't do that right now because it's a little hard. The easier way to do it is to stack first and then pull it. You don't really need to be there for that typically because a double stack small camp will clear a whole creep wave almost always. But that can be a really good way to like screw them out of the lane too, because if they lose a whole wave of experience and they don't realize that you're pulling, then they're going to lose like half of a level from that or something crazy. And if you do that enough over the laning stage, then the laning stage is like completely won, especially if you're also good at zoning in the meantime. Like if you guys killed Venomancer 3 times, you stacked the small camp and you pulled it like twice to completion, you're going to hit level 6 when they're level 4 or something like that. And then they're going to be like, how do we lane this, you know?
I feel like times when I stack and then I pull, like maybe the timing is off, and then like my carry's like, oh well, how do I last hit under tower? Or it's really like a strange lane position for them. So like, what's the best timing to like make sure that if you do stack and pull and the wave is cleared, like when are you supposed to do that? So,
well, Ice Frog luckily buffed or changed towers, so it's easier to last hit under towers. So that's not a valid complaint anymore. But other than that, the problem with stacking and then pulling is that it takes a lot of time. You have to walk from here over to here, then you stack, and then you have to go back later and then do the pull. So it takes a long time for it to pay off, and those moments where you walk away for 15 or 20 seconds will result in the carry getting bullied by 2 heroes for that moment. So I would say if you have a carry like Weaver, it's easier to do. If they have a weaker lane, it's easier. And it's also easier if you have fear, if your opponents have fear. And the way that you do this is by being clean in your kills and by not always showing where you are. If you spend your whole laning stage standing behind the creep wave, then they're not going to go in your carry, but they're always going to know where you are, you know? But if you spend your time over here, like weaving in and out of trees, occasionally popping out and killing the Venomancer and then disappearing, once you kill them like 3 times, they're going to feel the pattern. They're like, oh wow, I keep dying when the Witch Doctor comes out, and they're going to start playing more carefully, basically. So when that happens and they have that fear in their mind, you can basically do whatever the fuck you want on the map. You can AFK, and they're still going to be scared, you know? So it's like, but you don't even have to be there, and you're affecting the game in a positive way for your team. So my point is that if you get a couple kills on the Venomancer or the support, who's almost always easier to kill, then it's not as big of a deal if you go back and do a stack and then do a pull, because they know that they can't contest you anyways, and they're more scared about you. So the times that that's happening in a negative thing, it's possible you're running back too long, you're walking back too early so you don't forget, then you do the stack, then you sit here and wait for the pull, which is another 20 seconds away. All of that is like a minute out of lane if you do it inefficiently. So sometimes you might want to like walk in, get a kill, run back, stack, like keep an eye on the clock. Like not missing pulls and not missing stack timers is going to change almost everything in how that feels to your carry, but also what hero he is. So if it's a lane where he feels pressured, or if he's already having a bad time, or if they're already winning the lane, then maybe don't do a stack and a pull. Wait to pull or do those things when the lane is already pushing, for example. That's another good time to spend that time, if the lane is already pushing. Because then if they do try to fight your ally, he's got extra creeps there than they do. Therefore, a fight to the death is slightly more likely to favor him, if that makes sense. So just try to be more careful. Just be a little bit more aware of your carry circumstance. And this is one place where it really helps for everybody to play all roles, is that you can kind of see what it would look like for your perspective if you were playing as that carry right now. Oh, they've got an Ursa and I'm playing a melee hero. That really sucks. I should stay in the lane, you know? Something like that.
Solid.
Other questions about that? Or should we watch somewhere past the 4-minute mark?
Let's keep going.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. No wonder your patch analysis took so long. This takes long.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So,
How did you feel about the latest patch where it's just 2 lines?
dude, I didn't even realize that it happened. I saw it last night at about 11, and I was like, oh no, there was a patch, and I didn't realize. And I was like, I'm just going to open it up really quick to see what it was. And I saw it, and it was like 2 lines, and I was like, oh, okay, no wonder nobody messaged me about it. Because it was like,
We should do like a joke video where you just feel like 7 hours of silence. And just,
we could
At
do
the
that,
end,
yes.
it's just Icebox says, "Don't buy Home of the Dominator."
yeah, just like
Yeah, it's armor and regen items got nerfed a lot, so it giving 6 armor and 6 regen was probably a little overkill, is why I think it got nerfed. That's my initial impression. I don't like this ward, by the way. I think a lot of players at your guys' MMR place wards here, and this is almost entirely because their supports play where they play. They play behind the wave, so they feel like having vision here is useful. But in the reality, you should be standing in this area, and therefore a ward here is a little irrelevant. I prefer that your ward is somewhere in this area. You can spot if they pull. You can spot if heroes TP in the lane to come gank you, for example. Or you could even like ward over here, and that's easier to spot like Venomancer sitting in the darkness when it becomes nighttime, for example. So this ward is almost always a reaction to you guys not playing in the correct place. Like once you start standing here primarily, or over here primarily, see the same thing happen for Enigma. Literally same ward basically. The area next to where the lane is, where they should be standing anyways, is where Tiny should be living typically. So this ward's technically bad, but once you guys adjust your play, it's going to feel a lot better. Alright, you got some really good pressure going on the Legion Commander here. That was a good try to TP, but alright, so you guys get the kill, he gales you, and you guys are like, okay, this is really no big deal at all. Then you will get your last hits, perfect. And now hopefully this revealed that you had a ward. That was a mistake to right click there. And you're probably going to do it again, yep. You see what I mean? That like you shouldn't have vision of that Plague Ward.
Yeah.
So it could reveal for him that you have an observer. And oh, here you guys are doing it. You see that there's a Veno, and Veno's garbage. So now you're just crushing him. Like, you guys, you understand this, but you could have done this at level 1 if you just got Maledict, you know? Maledict level 1. So good. Did you play Witch Doctor when they nerfed Maledict and it was like 50 seconds cooldown at level 1?
I mean,
that was like a year ago, I
us,
think.
We had like taken a huge break from Dota, maybe like 3 years or something. Okay. So it's kind of hard to say like when I last played this hero.
Okay. But there was
returning from COVID. because like, oh, we're all at home now.
Okay. Well, that's one good thing out of the pandemic, at least. Slightly higher player count, more price pool. But basically they had to nerf Maledict because it was just too good at level 1. Because you'd just get it and you'd zone an offlaner by yourself as a support, which is effectively what you've done here. Well, it took you till level 2, of course, but nice, easy. Ward denied. This has been really good though. The amount of aggression you guys have been putting out is really solid. This is definitely winning the lane. Like,
Nice, we did it, Randy.
other than the fact, but it took you like a minute and a half to do it. Is the only big negative. Farming these is great. You might want to go pull instead though. Is the only thing. Did you get bounties either? I don't think so. You let them get bounties, which probably shouldn't have happened considering your guys' advantage. Maybe buy a new clarity potion or something. I have a feeling you're going to buy an arcane soon. Anyways, okay. Maybe we go back and watch the mid lane. I'll teach you guys some mid things from another bad mid player. Generally, when you play mid Pugna, it's not bad to go decrep level 1 because you can use it to guarantee some last hits. You're also standing too far back and you're not right-clicking the gyro enough. Because you have a ranged advantage against this guy. He's got really high armor. Gyro has like stupidly high armor, but you could be right-clicking him a little bit more. Like you're just generally, you're basically attacking from max range, and I don't think you really need to do that. That one was good though. Okay, now you're kind of getting on top of it. This is good. You also haven't cast your spell yet, which is probably not a good thing either. You could use it to get a last hit and a harass. Like a lot of the mid lane sometimes, especially when you have an AoE nuke, is that you want to use spells to guarantee last hits that you might not otherwise get. Because you know, if you have more damage than him by a little bit, but he's going to get some of the last hits, so occasionally using a spell is useful. Because especially if it damages him as well. It's very common on Lina. Use Dragon Slave to get a last hit, and it also harasses him. That's like the most obvious example. Power Shot's kind of the same, you know, get a last hit, try to hit them for damage as well. And maximizing your utility per spell cast is like basically a fundamental basic of Dota laning stage. That you're trying to just do as much damage as possible for as little mana as possible, basically. So that means things like using a stun to get 3 extra right clicks on them while they're stunned, you know? Things like that. Poor last hit. Unclaimed.
I remember this game. You were saying like, dude, the missile, it's so annoying.
I think it was another gyro. I don't think this gyro did that well against me. But the other one wrecked me.
Were you playing Pugna that game too?
Gyro for gyro is the missile level 1 always.
I'm sorry, was that a question for me? What'd you say?
Yeah. Because I've been learning gyro myself. I was learning the proper skill build for it's a missile 1.
Missile 1 is probably fine. Like if the laning stage is already, I mean, you could use missile for first bloods at bounty runes for sure. It does 100 damage, which is a pretty huge amount. Using rocket barrage in laning stages is kind of weak. On side lanes, it's probably better to go rocket barrage, I imagine, because you could do 70 times 3. It's 210 magic damage, which is massive. So it's like insane amount of damage for a level 1 skill. So if there's opportunities to use rocket barrage in the jungle by like just against one hero, then it's great. But if it's in the mid lane, it's a lot harder to use rocket barrage with without somebody else being there. So I would say it's probably better in the mid lane to go for rocket instead. Because at least then, like if a range creep's about to get last hit, you can put a missile on the enemy hero ahead of time. That way they're stunned, and you can for sure deny that and guarantee that you get a small level advantage there. Yeah, pulling the creeps is a good thing to do. I definitely don't do that enough. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but
I've been trying to do it more, yeah.
So one downside is that when you blast the range creep, it's going to get denied. Unless you do that, which is good. Looks like you learned. He should have probably been using flak against you more, for example. He hasn't like done a good job harassing you in the slightest. Do you have your bottle coming or something? Oh, okay. Yeah, bottle's pretty worth it here. Because he can't push out the lane nearly as good as you can. I would have liked you to right click him a little bit here, but I get you don't have a ward. So it's not always easy. But you should have right-clicked him at least one more time there.
So Tiny was in the lane. Was that like a good timing for Tiny to be there? Because I think he wanted to gank.
Well, let's go look. Let's go look at the angle that he took. So, leaving the lane generally not. It's okay to gank sometimes, and like pro players will check runes a lot. But considering that Pugna has much better pushing than Gyro, it's very easy for Pugna to secure the rune. You just push the wave before the rune spawns, and then you just take your sweet ass time and grab wherever the rune is, pretty much. So you don't really need to contest the rune, frankly. But you ganking can work, certainly. Like, imagine if you pop out right now and do an Avid toss combo on him. That'd be really good, especially if he gets decrep off. You could definitely kill this guy. But let's see how you approached it. You've got boots already, so you're pretty fast. Running this way was a waste of time. It's a little bit faster to go this way, because you're probably checking rune anyways. And if you are ganking, you're going to want to come up on his side. See how much time you're wasting?
Yeah. I remember, I think Ignima got killed like twice in the next few minutes because I wasn't there, right, Ian?
Who got killed? Pugna?
Actually, we'll see.
Our bot lane.
Oh. Yeah, and that's the primary negative about leaving your lane like this, is that you are going to leave your other lane more vulnerable. He also can see you here. There's Radiant Vision. This is Day Vision, 1800 units. He'll spot you right here when he moves over. Boom, he sees you. So, like, it was pretty brief, but standing here is a huge mistake. You definitely use this ramp. You don't have to go all the way around here, but walk up the ramp and go hide behind this, like basically squeak in here and then run this way, and then you just kind of wait here, basically. That way you're in position. It's kind of the same as like being on the side up here. You want to basically be behind them. That way, if it's time to go in, you don't have to chase them down. Because most heroes are going to be about the same speed as you. He's got boots, you've got boots. So that means if you're not behind him, you're not going to be able to toss him back, basically. So when you're attempting a gank, you almost always want to come from behind. So just waiting here is like, it's like half-assed. It's like, why even wait there if you're in a position where he could see you if he just happens to walk anywhere in this area, you know? So if you do want to do this gank, come here quicker, grab the rune or leave it for the Pugna, and then get in position, because you guys probably could have killed him. He's pretty tanky, so you probably can't now. His HP is too high when he's full. If Pugna was 6, it'd be better. So that's another thing that you should look at. Like, is it possible for Pugna to kill Gyro by himself? No. Only if he like harasses him down slowly. If you're included as well, it's possible maybe, because your damage is also amplified by decrep. But you'd have to be, like, the numbers just don't add up, right? You're not going to be able to kill him in one burst. It's only going to work if you have life drain, because it does more damage. So again, this is another place where playing all roles is really helpful for you guys. Because if you're walking mid, you might think like, hey, is this a good time to gank? You have to look and see for yourself. What are their relative HP levels? Does Gyro have enough? Like, if Gyro's at half HP, absolutely fucking gank him. But if he's full HP, you're wasting your time probably. It's all about the chance or the likelihood of the gank being successful. Are you going to kill him? Probably not. Go home. That should be your mental thought. So whenever, and let's go back and look at your perspective too, to see if we can get a view into how your brain cells were working at the time. All right, you see the DD. You're just looking at your hero. You're grabbing your courier. All right, you finally looked at him for the first time. Number one, you have way too much camera on you right now. I want your camera to be here. You know where your hero is standing. You want to see what's going on over here. You don't need to see all this crap here, because there's probably not going to be a hero here. So if you're looking to gank, look at the situation. Click on his item. See how many magic stick charges he has. You know, what if he's got 10 sticks? Then you have to factor that in. Oh shit, he's going to have an extra 150 HP. Look at your Pugna. What skills does he have? What items does he have? Does he have life drain? Oh, he doesn't have life drain. All right, this is a waste of my time. And then you go home, you know? But if you don't gather all that information, it makes it harder to get a kill. Like, honestly, maybe you can get this kill. Imagine if you're here right now with your windlace in your inventory. You run out, he gets decrept, and then you toss him back to your Pugna, and then you avalanche him or something. You guys could do a lot of damage to him. And considering the fact that you've already walked all the way here, it wouldn't be terrible to do this even if he doesn't die. Because if you look at him, he's only got 1 tango anyways. So it would be okay to pressure / damage him heavily, because then he gets zoned from the lane for a bit. But the way that you did it was not very wise, and you did leave the lane for such a long time that Enigma is now in a 1v2, which means his chances of dying are just a lot higher.
Yeah, I think I did die a couple times.
Yeah.
in the meantime, actually. We have 3 deaths now. It goes me.
Oh, you don't have any deaths at this point.
No.
Oh, no,
So-
I don't.
No, you don't. And you almost
It was later.
killed.
I definitely remember.
Oh, nice. And you killed Wind Ranger, and you got a courier. Man, you should leave the lane more often. That was really, really good for you guys.
It's morale.
Oh, no, the desert switched on.
Grabbing bounties is great, but basically that was a great opportunity for them to try to pressure and kill Enigma. They didn't do it, and therefore they lost their opportunity. So like this shit happens constantly in lower MMR games where somebody loses an opportunity or doesn't take advantage, you know? Oh, we stole your last hit. He should use Nova for that instead of right-clicking. Alright, you've got Tranquil Boots now. What you should be doing is getting behind your opponents, not sitting back here. You are not a deny bot. Your goal as a support is not just to deny creeps. It is to kill heroes, pressure heroes, that kind of a thing. Like, Enigma's basically been soloing this whole lane. Like, imagine if you're over here. You walk forward, you avalanche her, and then when you get close, you toss her back, and then you guys kill a CM. But instead, you're kind of just wandering aimlessly. Like, compare what you've accomplished compared to what Witch Doctor's accomplished is very different. Now you're rotating top, probably to try to help get kills, but to be honest, it's fine for you to do this, but it probably wasn't necessary. You could have done this in the bot lane if you had used proper positioning, if you'd come from behind. And again, I know you randomed it, so maybe you don't feel as comfortable with the hero, but the toss back is almost all the value, because it's putting somebody out of position. It's effectively a pudge hook, and when you get hooked as pudge, or when you get hooked against a pudge, you need to run away because you're out of position usually. Either way, you'll get this kill, or at least you will have helped with it, which is good. I think he dies. Oh man, he's gonna live.
I think he dies to the bugs. It's really close.
Yeah, it does. I remember this.
That was really close. You did make mistakes though. When you use Avalanche, it does 3 times damage while they're midair, basically. So if you come to gank a guy like that and he gets Maledict, just do an instant Ava toss, and you also toss the Weaver. I know you didn't mean to do that, but they take more damage if they take 30% more damage if they're tossed. You kind of like choked your spells moderately.
Yeah,
bad.
I didn't know how to. In a lot of team fights with scam, I would toss a creep on accident or not toss the enemy hero, because I know
Gotcha.
the combo is you toss into the avalanche, right?
Okay, yep. Ava into toss actually does a little bit more damage, but toss into avalanche is safer because the avalanche takes like a second to start stunning them. So if it's somebody that's a blink dagger, you usually want to toss first to guarantee that they're like locked down, you know. But if they're not gonna expect, then just do the avalanche first. So now you're roaming. So this is basically the point where we're at 7 minutes and you're still level 3, and the reason is because you have done very little to contribute to the game, basically. Like, you did help kill that Legion, which was useful. He probably wouldn't have died otherwise. But now you need to go do something else to start catching up on levels, and this puts your team at a bad point, because now when it becomes 10 minutes, if Witch Doctor has a rough next 2 or 3 minutes, you're probably going to ask for the tome because you're so far behind. But if you just had been having a better game, then the tome can go to Witch Doctor. He can power past 6 into like 7 or something, get more Maledict levels. You know, it helps the game a lot. So generally what you should have been doing instead, and the reason you're under-leveled, is because you wasted a little bit too much time running around mid. And it wasn't just that you didn't go for the gyro kill, it's that you walked there slowly. You walked there at an inefficient way that wasted 2 seconds. Then you stood there for 5 seconds. Then you stood over here for 15 seconds. And then you eventually walked back bottom. Then Enigma got a solo kill without you, so you weren't there for that experience. So it's like, if you're going to roam, it's good to roam, but you have to be efficient. And you have to ideally recognize before you get all the way there and stand there for 20 seconds that the gank is or isn't going to happen. Because you could have done something else instead. Stack a camp, pressure to hero, something like that. So you're probably playing the weakest this game, I would say, just because you're under-leveled. But when you do fight, you've made okay choices. But it's really important that you don't get into this habit. Because this happens so much at lower MMRs where people don't really know what to do. So they just stand around a lot. And they wait for a fight to happen. And if the fights don't happen, they sit there and they're like, man, everyone's really playing passively this game. And that's because you aren't playing in a way that's able to make ganks happen. It's like the same as Witch Doctor sitting behind the creep. That's not going to make a gank happen unless they do something really stupid. And your opponents will do some dumb shit because they're the same MMR as you guys, and that happens sometimes. But you're not allowing yourself to take control of the game. You're just hoping that they'll accidentally drop their wallet in your lap, you know? But if you stand over here instead, the tool is in your hand now. you can just walk forward and cast your spells on them. Same thing over here. If you would stand behind them, you could wait till CM walks up a little bit too far to approach the creep wave, and then you walk forward and just toss her back to Enigma. And now, boom, you have an opportunity to do a lot of damage, maybe kill her. Do you see what I mean? So you haven't done anything in the laning stage to give your team the opportunity to get those kills, and then when you roamed around because you felt like you needed to do something, you did it inefficiently, which further set you back. And that's why Gyro still has really good last hits this game. Because not only Pugna maybe could have done a little bit more here, but also nobody ganked him, and if you had, it would be a different story. And now you're under leveled, so you pressuring him solo in the jungle is definitely not possible. So it's like all these things really add up to contribute to like your game's trajectory in a big way. So then you run mid because you're like, I need to get some experience. But and like I get it, you need to catch up, but this is one of those tough places where what you should be doing is still trying to dumpster this lane. Enigma tries to get a double kill by himself. He ends up dying because it's a little bit too hard. If you were there, you probably helped get one of these kills. What's going on? Gyro's ganking top now. Well, that should be getting this. Small mistake here, Weaver. I would have gone aggressive. This is one thing. This is like the covenant that you make between the carries and the supports is that the supports are here to get you kills, but if they run at your supports, you need to hit the other guy. Because literally the only thing that's going to stop, basically the only thing that's going to keep Witch Doctor alive is Legion Commander feeling like he's going to die. And that only comes from you right-clicking him, because Witch Doctor can't right-click him right now. So you played too scared here. I would have Sukuchi'd and ran through this. And then maybe ended up here. But you running to the right and sitting back because you felt a little worried, that was irrational. This is the guy that needs to be worried, not you. He's got lower HP. He's being pressured. You've got all this HP. You're level 7. You've got time lapse. You need to start right clicking him. That was a really good toss, Tiny. You guys do get the kills. Too bad you didn't get experience for that because your TPN was good. And you finally did do something really effective that you showed up to this fight. Imagine if you're level 5 though, or level 4. You know, maybe he dies there. Could have made a difference. Time lapse. Perfect. Interesting skill usages, guys. But it's okay. This Bugs was unnecessary. Waste of your mana. So everybody rotates because they overdive a little bit, which ends up going relatively good for you guys. So not terrible, but again, that was a fight that happened. That was just you guys reacting to something they did. Nobody's really set up. So basically, to set up things, I've talked about this in other coaching sessions and streams, but your basic formula for, it's not quite the 10-minute mark yet, but to create action, other than standing in the side lane, what you need to do is push creep waves. If you push creep waves, creeps go to the tower. Somebody on the team says, hey, there's creeps under the tower. I can get those last hits, and they teleport in. And then as soon as they teleport in, the Witch Doctor and the other hero jump in from the side jungle, and they fucking murder that guy instantly. Because the Weaver is basically going to be here pushing the lane. He'll start hitting the tower. Venom will TP in, thinking, oh, this will be okay. Then you jump out and kill him. And when you do that, you've created a kill because you've pushed the lane. You forced a reaction by them teleporting, and then because you've stayed hidden this whole time in the side jungle behind them, that way when they teleport in, there's no way they can escape because you're here. You're like, oh, I'm in trouble. Time to run back to Fountain. Boom, you jump out and you kill him. So that's why playing side jungles is so important. Witch Doctor playing, I get that you're low HP right now, so let's assume you're full HP. You standing here is bad. It would be better for you to stand here or over here. Ideally with a ward here or maybe here to spot rotating heroes. So that should be your formula for making kills happen rather than just reacting to what is happening. And the other thing the other thing that commonly happens at low MMRs is everybody jungles too much basically because it feels safe. They don't know where you are. You're getting gold. You're getting experience. But the problem is that you're not pushing lanes because you're jungling. And because you're not pushing lanes, nothing happens because they just jungle too. So your creep waves just fight here and nobody gets golden experience. If you push lanes, you get more golden experience because lane creeps are worth more. After you push a lane up to a tower, if there's no gank ready to go, then you just go jungle instead. And then when the next creep wave comes, you come and kill that again. And by doing this, you're constantly pushing the creep wave towards the tower, and then your supports can sit nearby sometimes to jump out and get kills. So that's generally your formula for mid-game going for kills and things like that. So if you guys do feel like nothing's happening and you don't know what to do, it's possibly that your cores aren't pushing lanes. It could also be you could push lanes. Witch Doctor can't do it very well. Tiny can't do it. Tiny can do it okay once you have more levels because you have more AoE damage. But generally, your 3 cores should be pushing like crazy on lanes. Pugna can do it. Weaver can do it. And Enigma can do it a little bit, but not as safely. And then the supports will usually just want to play the side jungles near them. And then if anybody shows up to the lane, you can jump out and kill them. If that makes sense. Okay, let's take some questions for a bit. I've been probably talking too long. Do you have any questions about anything I went over?
I have questions for like the next couple of minutes because I feel like after this point, I end up doing nothing as Pugna, I think, for a while. And like, I just die, I think.
Okay. Let's see what you do. Okay, come to the mid lane, get your last hits. That's great. Mid tower's already dead. I would nuke this wave. And now what you should be doing is going to the bot lane. Going top is wrong, unless you're going for a rune there. So this is a stage of the game, usually between the 9 and 15 minute mark. At lower MMRs, it's usually delayed a bit. But the safest place to play is in the off lane. The safe lane is not as safe to play in because there's a lot of ways in to pressure and to gank. And there's a lot more areas you need to deward. Like there could basically be a ward anywhere over here, right? So dewarding, that's very difficult. That means it's easier for your opponents to have a vision advantage over you than vice versa. And therefore it's easier for them to start a fight that's going to be advantageous. Like blink and duel a guy or something like that, you know? So usually what happens at this period of the game, especially if you've been losing the lane, is your carry will leave the lane and they'll go jungle. Anywhere in the jungle, because most carries can jungle decently. Or they'll go to the off lane to help push it out. And by pushing out this lane, it does the same thing for you guys. You guys have all of this area to put wards down to spot heroes, like basically what Tiny's doing. Oh, look, I can easily swing in and go for a kill on this guy. If only he was level 7 or something, he can maybe get this kill. But push the creep wave in, dive under the tower, get a kill, take the tower. That's your formula. It's kind of similar to what I said before. Supports play the side, the cores push out the lane, and you take the tower. So Pugna going top is a waste of time, generally. It's not a waste of time. It could be okay for you guys because you can still win fights, especially if your opponents make mistakes. But it's not really that important to play here. And Witch Doctor can maybe play here if he wants to slow down the push, but it's not safe for him to do so because he's going to have to show using Paralyzing Cask, and they're almost always going to react by just killing him, and it's not even going to push the wave that well. If you're playing like Tree and Protector or something, you can use Nature's Grasp from the trees to slow down the push really good, but usually it's just not safe for anybody to defend here because it's pretty easy for people to like cut this tree and then jump out here and kill whatever carries defending. So
is our goal to like just take the off lane tower faster than they take our safe lane tower?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah, if possible. There are going to be times where you can go defend this, but it would be moments like they're all hitting the tower and they're really close to like here. You guys can all teleport in and throw your spells and chain disable them or something. Or like you see that they have 2 heroes bottom and you're like, oh, they're only pushing with 3. Fuck it. Rotate 3 up, 4 up, and get a good team fight. There's times that you can defend it for sure. And if and generally they've lost this lane, so it means that they've done less damage to your tower, most likely, and they're going to have less farm and less net worth. Like, this guy doesn't even have phase boots yet, and it's almost 10 minutes. So they've had a rough laning stage. Vandal's also underleveled. This guy's in a far worse position than Tiny is, because he's a freaking underleveled Veno. Tiny has Tranquil Boots, Soul Ring. Like, you have a lot more net worth, that kind of stuff. So them even fighting or pushing or contesting here is going to feel dangerous, because Veno knows that if he tries to push the solo, the 5 position is going to solo kill him. So basically they're not going to be able to pressure here as well, which means it's really easy for, even if you want to be greedy, you can leave a hero here. Witch Doctor can stay here, keep getting last hits and denies, because again, a lot of creep golden experience on creep waves, and then everybody else could go push bottom. And then you guys, so basically like imagine like the perfect game of Dota is you collect every bit of golden experience on the map constantly while also pushing towers, winning team fights, all that other stuff, right? So if you have more resources, aka you're winning, it feels more comfortable for you to leave a hero top to continue getting golden last hits on the creep wave while everybody else does the other shit. So if you're comfortable, yeah, leave Witch Doctor here, everybody goes to push bottom. Let's go see what you're doing with your time, by the way. You eventually did come bottom, but the reason you did was because there was a fight. And in reality, you could have just walked here. Probably. Or, as soon as you killed that creep wave, just instantly TP bottom, knowing I'm supposed to be bottom. So this is usually what happens in my head at this point of the game. I look at the map and I'm like, I know where I'm supposed to play. It's supposed to be in the offlane. If you get here 5 seconds... Oh, that was a very nice black hole. Well, I'm glad to hear, Pugna. Let's see what you do. and you're here, you push the creep wave, which is right. You guys bully the shit out of the tower. You get ready to cut the next creep wave. This is perfect. Tiny, oh, you're getting bounty runes. That's good. I was going to say what Tiny should be doing is sitting in this area ready to jump in if needed, but bounty runes is also really good. I'm comfortable with you guys getting bounty runes here because you're winning so much. That's less likely that they respond. If this game is closer, I'd probably wait to take the bounties a little bit later, or I'd maybe take this bounty and go right back to be ready. But because you guys are winning a lot, I feel really comfortable with you guys cutting the creep wave really far back here. But if it's closer, this is dangerous to be separated so much from Enigma in case a fight happens, and also for you to be like so far away from your safety of a tower. So if you guys are more scared, you can pull these creep waves together and kill them. Enigma, you'd probably want to stand about here instead. Your positioning is slightly wrong, because if they do come to fight, they're going to pop out right here, and you're already in cast range, so they can stun you from darkness. So that's why this positioning is slightly bad. It's safer for you to stand here normally. And it doesn't matter here because you guys are winning and they're less likely to defend. But in a normal game, I promise that if you stand here, you're going to see them running out this way to try to stun you, and you have a little bit more time to react. And by the time their stun hits you, maybe you are here instead, you know? Like, you being stunned here is so much different than you being stunned here as 2 more people TP in, you know? So, small tip there. Hey, look, they're doing something similar as well. And the funny part is, like, most of you guys probably don't even think about this. It just kind of happens naturally because you play enough games and realize, like, it feels bad when I do X thing, you know? But you guys effectively did the right thing. You rotated, like, Pugna rotated here for the wrong reason because it looked like there was a fight. But ultimately, you did the right thing, and then you pushed the tower correctly afterwards. Now that the tower's dead, what do you guys think you should do?
Push top tower?
Wrong. That is the common thing that people at your MMR do, but it's the wrong thing to do.
Is it push the T2 bottom and force rotations?
Basically, yes. You have to think, I want to collect, as a team, we're trying to win the game by staying super far ahead on net worth. So the best thing to do is to leave one hero here to keep pushing. Or whether it's this is where Enigma starts to become a shitty offlane hero, in the sense that now your safety is really far away. If you're pushing this creep wave up to like here, and you get into some trouble, the best thing you can do is TP or hide in TP. It's going to be like really hard for you to run all the way back here because you're a slow hero and you don't have very good escape or defense capabilities. The worst thing you guys could do is both continue pushing. This happens sometimes too. You guys kill the tower with 4 heroes and you're like, dude, we have such a big wave going. Let's go push the tier 2. You walk up here with 4 heroes, they press glyph, your whole creep wave dies, and you're like, okay, I guess we spread out now. But in that meantime, you've wasted 40 seconds with 4 heroes pushing up. So the best thing you can do, it's nice that Tiny left because you guys got the tower for nothing, basically. Tiny being here would have done almost nothing to increase the speed of the tower dying. So him leaving was actually quite good because we can assume, I'm sure he's done perfect things with his time since he left here. But now the same thing should happen. One person keeps pushing this lane and the other guy will go do other stuff. Because you don't have a TP on Pugna, you can maybe rationalize, hey, maybe Enigma should go somewhere else and Pugna could push. In some ways, I actually like that a little bit better because Pugna can more rapidly kill creep waves. Like, for example, they don't know where Pugna is going to be right now, but in 5 seconds, if he shows up on the creep wave, uses a Nether Blast, and attacks 5 times and kills the whole creep wave, they only have like 10 seconds to react to Pugna being here, you know? And then he walks away and goes in jungles, and they still don't know where you are. Enigma has to stand in the lane a little bit longer. If you use the Eidolons, you have to be within experience range. It's still kind of safe, but it's like they have an opportunity to maybe go gank you because they're going to see you with their eyeballs. At your guys' MMR, almost no ganking happens unless they see you with their own eyeballs. So the less time that you spend on a creep wave killing the whole thing to get the golden experience, the better. So that's why pushing with AoEs is so valuable, because you will spend less time on the creep wave and you'll spend less time farming that gold, and then you can spend the rest of your time doing something else. So once you have good mana regen, like arcane boots and stuff, you guys should be pushing creep waves stupid rapid. So one person should stay, the other person should either clear these camps and go about his business farming here, or you can go push a different lane. You already have Tiny in the mid lane, so you probably don't need to be there unless Tiny wants to participate in the other fights. If you guys think the tower is going to be dove or pressured, you could also rotate here with more people. But I don't think you need everybody here, because until that fight starts, it's bad that you're there, basically. Like, imagine if you have 5 heroes sitting behind the tower right now. That's garbage, right? Because you're not getting creeps here. You're not pushing creeps here, and you're not getting creeps or pushing here. So what you want to do is have some people ready, usually the supports, because it's not as big of a deal if they don't farm. And then when the shit's hitting the fan, or there's an opportunity to start a fight, like imagine Witch Doctor stands here, the gyro comes up and attacks the tower here. Bad place, right? He should be standing over here instead. If he's standing here, Witch Doctor throws out a stun, drops Maledict, and 3 people TP in, and you force a fight. That would be a good way to react. And then if you guys win a big fight and get like 2 or 3 kills, then it's more valuable that some of you guys rotated. And then what should happen is whoever has TPs off cooldown, one should TP to the mid lane, one should TP to the off lane, and go start pushing it out again to reset the passive process that happens between ganks. So, with all that explanation, let's see what you do. Everybody leaves. Wrong. Like I said, if you don't see the farm with your own damn eyeballs, you don't know what to do. And what does it look like from your perspective? Oh, there's no creep wave here. I better leave.
But the creep wave is.
Oh, there it was. You know, there's always gonna be another creep wave. So it's if you walk back here, Enigma, and you killed the small camp, and then you went back to pushing, it's fine. But now this is a mostly stable creep wave, and you guys didn't even force a glyph out of them. Imagine if Pugna walks up and he blasts this wave, and now there's like 5 creeps in a catapult hitting a tower. They're gonna glyph, probably, or the tower's gonna take like half damage. And if they do, next time that you come, now you could basically rotate like a bunch of heroes bottom and really pressure the tower. If they don't see you guys, like imagine if you just appear here with 4 heroes and you guys bully the shit out of the tower with like Eidolons and Netherblast. They're going to be scared to defend because it's like already gone. So burning the glyph is pretty important, and you guys just gave up on that. And now what's happening is you say, hey, there's a lot of heroes top. I guess we have to go top. But now what have you done? We've got 4 heroes here, and there's only 1 creep wave to collect. So now everybody's wasting their time. Or at least you're wasting a lot of hero resources. There's gold here, there's gold here. And Pugna is probably going to go mid. But, like, you just walked across the entire map to get 1 catapult. You could have just killed the creep wave here, and then you could have killed the creep wave here. It's a little dangerous to push up to the tier 2 tower, especially now because the outposts change. It's really easy for them to teleport behind you when you're pressuring up here to get behind you to disable. That's why the outpost change is a really big deal. Because if you're playing correctly, it feels scary to cross like this line, basically. But if your supports are doing the right thing, what would happen is after you kill this tier 1 tower, what you want to do is get vision control in this jungle area. Basically, if you control this area, it's a lot easier for you to push up this lane safely with lower chance of being ganked. So, and now that this outpost change happened, where you don't even get to take the outpost until you take a tier 2 tower, it's pretty helpful to have some vision on the outpost. That way, when your Pugna goes and pushes this lane up, you can see that somebody is coming, and then he knows when it's time to back up. Because usually you'll get tells of people coming to gank you next to the lane, basically. Sometimes it'll come mysteriously through a tree, because somebody TP'd in here and they run out and try to gank you. But a lot of the times it'll be like, oh, Pugna's pushing this lane, they'll walk this way, and they'll try to get behind you this way. So if you have vision in this area, it's really helpful for the people that are trying to efficiently split push. So that's why, like, having some like mobile hero like a Queen of Pain or an anti-mage here is really helpful because it's like easier to escape if they try to gank you. But it doesn't mean that you can't push this lane as Enigma or as Weaver or as Pugna. You just have to be like efficient, push the wave, go back to jungle. And players of your MMR are not going to anticipate this, and they're never going to like think ahead to be like, oh, he's probably going to be here to push the lane, so I'm going to smoke with 3 heroes and wrap around and kill him, you know? So let's see what you do now. Everybody TP's top. Everyone's standing around. Not really. And now you got, oh, we're all here. I guess we push. And this is last guy I coached with similar thing. Is they think like, oh, objectives, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So you guys are grouping with 4. You're going to pressure this tower, which is okay. But first of all, you're already late. You guys are all set up late. If you want to pressure this tower, what should be happening? Witch Doctor should be over here putting a ward down right now. You know that you're going to be on the tower in a second. You don't need Witch Doctor to stand here and attack creeps. You could have done this almost as quickly if Weaver had just used Sakuchi. 206 or 175 magic damage done to the whole creep wave. You got Eidolons. This tower's dead. Tiny should do the same thing. You guys should both be standing over here right now with a ward down ahead of time. Because if these guys are good, what they're gonna do, if they're not completely brain dead, they're gonna see 4 people on a fucking creep wave. What does this look like to you? I think they're pushing, right? Then they're gonna teleport and they're gonna get ready to defend. So imagine if like they look up and they're like, oh, they're coming. They start teleporting right now, and you have a ward on this cliff, and Tiny and Witch Doctor are right here. That guy's dead, right? It's so obvious. You see him teleporting. Your team is coming. You start walking behind, waiting for his TP to finish. Boom, he gets Avatossed. As soon as his TP finishes, you guys walk up, and now you have a real push going. But this is a lazy-ass push that you guys are doing. 4 people in the lane, you're like, well, Straight down mid, basically. But how can any of you initiate? If somebody comes here, like imagine if Crystal Seer's somebody rotating, you could have killed this guy maybe, and you actually saw him as soon as the ward got put down, I think, or maybe it's vision here. But imagine if a Crystal Maiden walks up and Crystal Nova's the creep wave's gonna run past the tower, and then they get to kill all the creeps like over here in safety, and then it's hard to push. You guys can do it because you have creeps, but like basically you want to prevent them from pulling creeps past the tower. That's why it's really important to be behind and ready to jump in. And it probably looks like you're still going to kill this. See how different this is? They eventually reacted. The tower took damage, but it didn't die. And you guys didn't have an opportunity to take a kill. So now you're back off. So what have you guys accomplished in the last minute?
Half damage on a tower. That's pretty much it.
You did half damage to a tower, and 4 heroes split 2 creep waves evenly.
Yeah.
And Pugna still has gotten a lot of gold. Oh god, you're TPing top. No. Oh no.
Cancel that, Morgan, right now.
And you probably did this because you said, hey, there's a lot of heroes in this lane. I don't want to be late to this fight. And now what are you doing with gold? Look at this shit. We got 1 hero killing 1 creep wave. You see how outmaneuvered you guys just put yourselves? You're all doing nothing. You're splitting. The Weaver's farming by himself. He could do this by himself right now. And what else has happened? This wave is completely pushed up to your tower, so now they feel comfortable farming all of these camps. Like they in this moment they did far better than you guys. They rotated like 2 heroes. They safely defended the tower with a glyph, and you guys over rotated and made a huge mistake. And now you guys are losing another moment of like experience and stuff. And yes, it's nice that Pugna came over to pressure the tower because he's gonna be able to force it better. But you probably could have done this without Pugna. And let's see what they're doing in the meantime. Better stuff. See how spread out they are? They're all jungling, but at least they're all getting farm in the meantime. Or moving to another place to get farm. So in this moment of you guys all standing around, they were more efficient. Yeah, maybe you're going to kill the tower, and maybe like that's fine. But like how much gold are you going to get from this? Almost nothing. Everybody got 90 gold. That's nothing. 90 gold is like nothing. So killing towers is more about like map control by far than it is about gold right now. Unless you get the last hit, then it's better. So Pugna got the last hit, so he gets like 290 gold, which is good. But you probably could have done this with less heroes. And if you do it with less heroes, then that means that your other heroes are probably spending their time on something else efficient. So basically any team that's like 1k MMR higher than you guys, like they're probably about as good at casting their spells as you guys are, genuinely. Especially if you play these heroes a lot. Tiny, maybe not you, because you know you're making some mistakes and you ran out. But everybody else, the reason better players are beating you probably is because they're more efficient with their time in these moments. Like your guys' last hit totals are pretty low. So, and that's literally because of moments like these that add up continuously throughout the entire game, where you're not efficiently farming across the map as a team. You're not efficiently pushing creep waves. And then on top of that, it's also you're not putting yourselves in position to get team fight setups because you're not walking ahead of the push. Cores push up, and like you always want to be parallel to them, but ahead. Because like, imagine it was just Weaver pushing this creep wave out and all of you guys were to the side. And let's say they're smart in doing the same thing. Oh, they're like, oh, we're going to get behind Weaver. They start walking to the side to get around him. And now what do you do as a support? You're a moving ward. You see them running up with 2 heroes and you say, oh shit. And then you both run away from each other because both sets didn't expect to see each other, right? The Weaver was they were looking to kill Weaver here, not find supports here. And you were looking to get behind whoever comes up here. So by walking parallel, not only are you setting something up, you're also protecting your Weaver in that way. Because you don't want like the Weaver to be the guy in the front on the creep wave, because that's the guy that they know, that they see, that they know where he is. So he's the one they're going to try to kill. So you don't want him to be spotted first. You want your supports to be looking for those instead. And maybe you guys both walk up and you see Legion here at half HP or 30 HP or whatever he's got. And then he has to walk away. And he eventually does walk away. But like you guys you're spending too much time here. So here's a couple triggers that should go in your mind. Is that after you kill a tier 1, you usually don't keep pushing the tier 2. That's almost always wrong. Because you've already shown a lot of heroes on the tier 1. And therefore they're likely to have semi-reacted. So it's not safe to like keep pushing. So it's good that you guys move to the jungle like this. But generally what I would prefer you guys do instead is instantly TP to another lane to start pushing it out. And a lot of you are missing teleports because you used your last ones to go top. But it's great that Enigma came bottom to push out the wave. This is perfect. Somebody else needs to go do the same to mid. Walking mid can work, but this also could have been a good time to smoke. Kill the tier 1, back up a little bit, smoke, and then go run through the jungle like this to maybe gank somebody in the mid lane. And even if it doesn't work, you get mid a little bit faster, for example. Also, all this like slow movement stuff that you guys have been doing a little bit, inefficiency. This is why like 3 carry lineups work better at lower MMRs. Genuinely, it's because people don't push lanes enough, and they're not smart enough with their like hero positioning when they're pressuring towers. So it's really easy for people just to like clear the creep waves that come and then go back to AFK jungling. And if both teams do that, whichever team has harder carries is usually going to win. So if you guys play efficiently, it's totally fine that you only have a Weaver, but you need to like pressure the map better. Pugna coming over here to push the wave. This is great because he's doing it by himself. Nobody else needs to be here. Weaver doesn't even need to be here, to be honest. Weaver could come over and hit the tower a little bit. That's great, but look. Oh shit, Glyph gets popped. Everybody takes damage, and now Weaver has to go do something else. So rather than doing this, maybe Weaver just goes and farms this. You know? And then Pugna keeps pushing. But you didn't need 2 heroes to do this. This is already inefficient. And what's happening in the meantime? They grouped up and they're pushing bottom. So Pugna could be here solo. Somebody can push out mid maybe. And then everybody else could go defend bottom. And then you're getting 2 creeps of experience and able to defend the tower. And then if they dive and force a big team fight here, then everybody TPs. Pugna comes, and whoever's defending mid comes. So you don't lose anything, basically. Except that you're going to be at the fight a little bit late. But if the fight doesn't happen, you are so much better off. And that's what you guys are losing constantly by making these mistakes. Alright, and that's Dota. Does that make sense? You guys should be 5k now.
Totally,
after
yeah.
this. So you... And now you let them outmaneuver you because you guys are spending too many hero resources in the same lane to kill 4 creeps. And they get a tower for free, which finally gets them a little bit of gold advantage back in the game. But they shouldn't have been able to get this for free. They don't even have that many items. You guys just like reacted slowly. So once you get these patterns of like spread out on the map, everything's going to just feel easier. Everyone's going to have way more farm than normal. And then that will match up so amazingly against their net worths. You guys are beating them with your bad tactics already by a lot. Imagine if you were playing correctly, you'd have like a 10k advantage right now. And then all of a sudden you'd start getting solo kills. And Witch Doctor would start solo killing people. Like, you've got the items for it. You can solo kill Alright, you can actually solo kill any hero in the game except for Abaddon right now. So if you can do this as a 5-position Witch Doctor, of course your cores can do this as well. And if Tiny had a better game, he'd have a Blink Dagger right now. Then he's going to start solo killing Crystal Maiden repeatedly. And if he's hunting in the right places and you guys control wards in this whole area, they're not going to feel comfortable entering their jungle. They're going to sit in their base, and you guys are basically just going to map control them with 1 hero farming every lane and the other 2 farming jungles. And then all of a sudden you're going to have a 20k gold advantage. It'll take Roche, then the game's over, basically. So if you guys can see all those dots connecting, then that's what's holding you back a little bit. All right, is there anything else in this game you want to watch? Like, frankly, there's probably some shit that happens at 45 minutes and you're like, what should we have done in this moment? We can look at those moments. But basically, you fucked up a lot in the first 15 minutes, and that's what I prefer to focus on instead, because that's like the easier way to like, Dota's a snowball game, you know? So fix the early stuff, then make the better late game decisions. But I'm happy to look at some of those decisions if
What
you guys...
happens at 17:30? There's a on Dota buff. It seems like we lost a big fight.
Okay.
17:30.
Yeah. So in the next few minutes.
I'm going to look a
Yeah.
little bit earlier than that to see some lead up. So, all right, some heroes that have died. It looks all right. Let's go back and see how you died, because I want to get a little bit more inference here. All right, bunch of people bottom. You know you got to eat the jelly, right? Okay, good. You gave it to people. You must have just grabbed it. All right. Creeps are pushed up a little bit. Creeps on tower. Everybody's moving in. Oh, this is the part of the game, by the way, where supports need to buy a lot of sentries. This needs to happen every game, guys, when you play like this. Because remember how I said you need ward vision here? It's not just about your wards. It's about making sure they don't have wards. Because now if you're playing parallel to lanes, that's where their wards are going to be really devastating to you. Because now they know that you're here. So it's very common as a 5, and this is part of the reason that 5s in pro games don't have a lot of items. It's because they buy like 4 sentries at this point, and they put a ward here to make sure they get this cliff and this area. They put a sentry here. They put a sentry over here to check the cliff and anywhere over here. And then when they know their opponents don't have wards, then it's really easy for them to hang out. Like Witch Doctor can basically just wait in this area and then spot if people are coming with his observer wards on here or up here or over here or whatever. Then if they do invade their jungle, then you fucking kill them. And then you let Pugna continue pushing the tower. So what's going to happen is probably they see you because they have a ward. You didn't buy sentries. And they're going to eventually jump in here with enough heroes, and they're going to get kills on you. So that's how Pugna did die here. But I like that everybody's waiting in this area. The downside, though, is they know exactly where you are. So they're not going to make mistakes here. But it is, other than that, wow.
This one holds you. Holy shit! Wow.
Pretty dead here. Oh boy.
And then you tried to save him. Basically, at this point, you guys are like, hey, let's take a team fight. This is basically what seems to be happening. Well, boy, you killed Crystal Maiden. Holy shit. This was not a bad fight, actually. In no way was this a bad fight.
Oh yeah, I waddled around and got killed by Abdon because I didn't know it silenced me.
Oh, okay. Well, you needed to decrep yourself there. But other than that, it was a pretty good fight. And then that TP didn't work, and unfortunately no blink is available. So basically this happened because they had a ward. That's why they felt comfortable. And also Witch Doctor was behind the creep wave, cutting the wave. That was a big mistake by Witch Doctor, because that made them feel more comfortable to take the fight. And then because they had vision, they felt more comfortable to TP in 5 men and take a fight. And because you didn't have vision, you guys were going to react later. That's the benefit of knowledge, you know? If you know before your opponent, then you can better coordinate and make a better spear thrust. And everybody else has to be like, oh shit, a spear's coming for me. Everybody come, you know? But at that point, it's a little bit late. So that's why you guys lost that fight despite having a gold advantage. It was still a very good fight, but it could have gone a little better if Pugna decrept himself before using Life Drain there, right at the last second, because then he would have probably gotten a full heal, and then maybe Enigma can help him kill the Legion. And then maybe it's like a really one fight. So small execution thing, but primarily it's about the vision. So buying a bunch of sentries there on Witch Doctor to deward would have 100% made this like an eventual dead tower. Because they had already used Glyph. The tower would have died with no incidents of anybody dying if you had vision controlled here. They wouldn't have confidently TP. And if Witch Doctor hadn't cut the creep wave like that. If somebody's going to cut the creep wave, it should be Weaver, who can Sakuchi away, or maybe Pugna, who can blast it quickly within 6 seconds to cast 2 blasts, you know? Alright. We also have 0 magic wands. You bastards. Buy magic wands. The item is so good. This is not okay. Everybody should have a magic wand. At least a magic stick. Every hero. There's no excuse. If you have magic wand, Pugna, even if you don't decrep yourself, you heal yourself for like 300 HP. If you have empty item slots, basically, there is a problem. These could be windlaces, or magic sticks, or smoke of deceits, or sentries. Don't be like Slacks, guys. Use your empty item slots. Put ironwood branches in them. Anything.
I watched his MMR guide to getting out of the ship chair. I was like, this guy's so smart.
I mean, Slacks is a smart guy, but there's some aspects of Dota that, like, his way of gaining MMR is very weird compared to everybody else's thing.
Yeah.
Be more efficient. Yeah, that used to work. Be more efficient about these last hits, by the way. You almost always want to, like, imagine if you just attacked each of these creeps one time before you used your spells. You would have gotten 200 gold. Instead, you only got 80. So just like, that's just a little bit of laziness there. That literally would have been your Blink Dagger.
That's exactly right. So
Alright.
we lose the next fight for sure.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that this
I think we
was
just
even
lose every fight from now.
really okay.
I think this
Pretty
was when
clowny.
kills me good.
They end up getting like 2 rapiers or something.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So the reason that this gank didn't work is what? Because you basically came behind. It was a badly formulated gank, right? You use Decrep, he's going to dispel it, and then you have no slows. If Tiny is here instead of either of these 2 heroes, this could be a kill. If Witch Doctor is here instead of either of these 2, again, Tiny, you did the same wrong mistake. You ran straight at him instead of from behind. And what also should have happened is you guys shouldn't have ran in yet. You guys should look at this and realize, I am a Pugna and a Weaver. We are not going to kill this man. Because watch his perspective as soon as you showed. This guy was probably content to farm here for the rest of his life. Well, part of the problem here, they have vision. See that?
Yeah.
He knows that you're ganking him. And then Witch Doctor's like, that's fine, I'll handle this. Oh no, you missed your Maledict.
Yeah, I missed it.
That's rough. Good try though. But coming in from behind, that's the right thing to do. Looks like you did have a... You do have a... Oh, that's rough. You have the sentry up there, but you don't have the vision anymore. So yeah, them having vision obviously is the primary thing. Tiny, same thing. You're always sitting behind your team. You need to sit up. You should be playing here. If they, like, again, they're not going to necessarily expect you here. If they do run up with 3 heroes and instantly cast spells on you, then you know they have a ward. You can figure that out. But it's okay for you to die sometimes like this because you're in position to potentially wrap around.
Well, I do a good job of that. Don't worry.
Do you say that that would be like the predominant thing you be doing as like the position 3 or like initiator tank?
Yeah, same
Like
thing.
if you're like a Bristle or if you're like a Night Stalker,
Well-
you'd be always standing there.
Here? No, not always. Depends on the hero. Bristle? No. Bristle doesn't have very good ganking abilities. He doesn't have a stun. If you're playing a Centaur, a Slardar, a Legion Commander, a Witch Doctor, a Tiny, anybody that can initiate, stuns kind of heroes, initiator type of heroes, even like an Enigma could be playing in this area. Bristle, no, because Bristle is more of like a tanky tower pusher. Bristle would ideally be here in the front because Bristle's benefits are he's resisting damage. He right clicks pretty well. He is a good person for them to initiate on, so you want to put yourself in a dangerous place. So Bristle could stand here, that's okay. But here, not really the right thing, because then you're waiting to swoop in to gank. So, like, there's going to be times where it's okay to be here because you don't want them to know that you're about to jump in. But it's not like Pugna pushing the tower with Bristle here to swing in from the back is like going to make a huge difference. Unless you're planning to quill somebody like 6 times and kill them at level 1. In which case, that's fine. But so it just kind of depends. It's all about the toolkit. Think about like what it's going to take to get a kill or what spells you have available to you. And then make sure that that will be useful to the moment. So let's see what happens. If I had to guess, it's that they have an observer ward and they see all of you guys sitting here and they are going to react correctly. I like the avalanche there. That was smart. Really good glimmer. Ooh, very confident life drain. I actually can't believe that worked so well. Was that it? Was this the fight?
I think that's
So
probably good.
So here's the mistakes. First of all, that oh man, you ran all the way back, Kurtine. I didn't even notice this. Oh, you already in position. Oh, this is more depressing now. You saw the gyro, so I get that you're slightly scared, but you don't need to be that scared. Just hang out here, you know. Especially if you have a sentry. If you had more sentry, like you guys have 0 sentries on the map. You've got really good ward vision. This ward sucks, by the way. If you're winning, don't ward on your side of the map ever. Should all be on their side. So small. This one too. This ward's also bad. I don't know how old it is, but anyways, don't be so afraid that you need to like. Oh, I need to get to my side of the map. If you had just waited, and then at this point ran forward, this guy dies actually. So anyways.
Do I solo kill him? I mean, I don't.
No, you can't solo kill him, but your goal is to be ready to help. Because, like, look at it this way. Pugna and Weaver have shitloads of damage. What's the easiest way to get a kill? Damage and disable. You are the disable. And you're damaged. You're damaged too. Tiny has a lot of burst damage. You can do like 1,000 magic damage if you Avatos somebody. Somewhere around there. So, if you do 1,000 magic damage, how much more do you need to kill a Legion? He's got 1,580 HP. So that means after resistance, probably about 2,000 magic damage to kill this guy. So you just need to find a gank with you and 1,000 damage. You could do that with Enigma. You can do that with Weaver. You can do that with Pugna. You can do that with a Witch Doctor. But it also helps that you're a disabler and you're pretty quick. You just need to be in position, basically. That's it. And if you have Blink, it's even easier. That's why Blink is so good on Tiny, because it is it's a movement item that allows you to be in position. But you can do the same thing with just your feet. But you're not putting your character there because you're a little bit scared on being too out of position, I'm guessing. But if you had just been there, that's a kill anyways. So that's why Tiny is so good at higher levels sometimes as well. Because he facilitates so much. He's basically Pudge, but much better. So the reason this goes bad is because your gank attempt was basically Gyro walks up and you go on him. You guys also miscommunicated. Let me see what this was like from your perspective, because maybe you didn't have vision of the... Alright, Witch Doctor you messed up, for sure. At the same time that he TP's in, you ran to the right for some reason. I don't know why you're doing this. But
I think it might have been miscommunication.
okay. It's possible you're looking somewhere else or shopping or something, but as soon as he TP's in, ideally you'd want to go in and disable him. Pugna basically, this is just like it's a misfire effectively. Like you can solo kill this guy, but it's not easy. You'll sit and get a blast off. Like it's like a rough attempt at trying to get a kill basically. And then you took a shitload of damage from basically them all responding. and then you had to do your best to fight. You should have thrown a cask earlier maybe, but it was still pretty good. And then they duel you. So it's like, again, it's vision, it's people not being in position, and it's just a little bit of miscoordination. And it's just a little hard to push tier 2s, generally. Tier 2s are tough. On the bright side, what happened on the rest of the map? Everybody's farming. So that really wasn't that bad for you guys, despite losing the Pugna there. Enigma backing here is smart, because after they fight top, it's likely that not everyone is going to be there, right? Because it'd be stupid for 4 of them to slowly push up. What's more likely is one guy pushes up and 3 heroes do something else. And if you're pushing mid, it's likely that they rotate mid to try to gank you. But rather than running this way, one thing you could do is run here instead. There's a chance they have a ward and they see you jungling here, and therefore could turn this like rotation to killing you here. But the more greedy thing you could do, you did something very safe by retreating. If you want to be a little bit less safe, walk over here, let your Eidolons keep pushing and try to get last hits, and then you go over here to kill this neutral camp by yourself. And again, if you guys have D wards here, then this is less scary too. Then you can basically shift over. You basically want to shift away from the rotators, if possible. Weaver keeps pushing here, and then one guy pushes up here, and then if you realize that they all left here with your wards, because you guys see them all running here, then what you guys could also do is, Enigma, you could leave here, and then come up here, and then maybe try to kill the solo guy up here. Hooray! As another option. But you have a dead hero, so maybe better to play passive. If that makes sense. Alright, any other parts in this replay you guys want to talk about?
Probably not. I feel like they just end up out farming us and
Yeah.
we just lose team fights.
The ending was essentially I just concentrated on split pushing and then trying to like shove in waves constantly so they couldn't take our
Who's
base.
what player are you there that's
the
talking?
Weaver.
Okay.
And then essentially like we always made it a 4 like they would push with 4 heroes but they would leave their LC at home, and then I couldn't push past the LC even though I had BKB and Lincolns.
Because you would
And then
possibly solo
everyone
kill you or something.
Yeah, and then everyone had blade mills at the end, so I didn't really know what to do.
Satanic can help. That's about it. Lincoln's is helpful. Let's just watch the map for a bit and see how efficient you guys are being. Weaver solo pushing bottom. You guys are farming here. You're jungling. Someone's going over here. You're retreating from this kill, which is good. I would go jungle either of these camps right now, if you're slightly dangerous or willing to do that. Like, it seems like you guys are actually pushing lanes pretty good, but what you're not doing is ganking when you find a hero. And the same thing was reflected here when you saw Legion Commander. Was that Legion that you spotted? I guess it's a little scary to get dueled, but I would have right-clicked him myself. Alright, no, it was Abaddon. When the Abaddon walked up, right-click that guy. What's he going to do to you? You know? Maybe it'll give you dual vision, and maybe you didn't expect to see a hero there. But
Yeah, I just farmed the
what's probably happening is you guys are basically, you're playing slightly aggressive in that you're pushing lanes, but you're never getting ganks. Except for Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor and Enigma are always ready to fight. This is good. Was Black Hole needed? Probably not. But I'm glad you guys got a kill. Look what happened. All of a sudden there's 3 heroes here. And why are they doing that? Because they don't know what to do. So everybody at your MMR is just reflexively thinking, if there's a fight, I go. Because that's the only way they know how to play Dota. Do you guys need to keep committing? Not really. If anything, it'd be better if you guys just stayed top, and then Enigma retreats from mid. And then somebody continues pushing bottom. But Weaver doing the same thing. Oh, there's a fight, I'm coming. Kill that guy. Just back up. They're all going to TP. And then they're going to be like, oh shit, we're all mid, and somebody's pushing bottom and somebody's pushing top. And then they're going to feel like they wasted their TP. So that's one counter against players at your MMR that they do all the time, is that's how they play. They 5-man because they don't know how else to fight or have fights to feel like it feels like they don't know how to fight in a circumstance where it's like, it's either a 5v5 fight or they feel separated and they don't know why. So they 5-man a lot, or they always react to fights like this. So that's why split pushing is so effective. And it just takes a little bit of patience, basically, to not overreact at moments like this. Like, that guy's super fucking dead. You guys don't need to walk in and start a fight because they already know that you're there. That means it's going to be harder for you guys to get the next kill because now they know you're there, you know? Also, Black Hole's down, so it's a lower chance you win the fight. That comes afterwards, and Death Ward is down too, so your cooldowns are worse. But basically, like, once they know you're there, it's harder to get a kill. Unless you're, like, really far ahead. Maybe Tiny could jump in and catch a CM or a Veno and solo kill him. In fact, you can. They're really low HP. But it's a little dangerous over pushing out top and maybe killing somebody here instead. Like, you could have killed this CM instead, potentially. And now you guys are forcing a really weird fight. And it's also harder to take this fight now because the gank happened on their side of the map. That means everybody on your team has to walk. They teleport, they're there instantly. So it's harder for you guys to win this fight for that reason. Tiny, your initiation looks pretty weak too. Let's see. Always blast before you ulti. Tiny, you should sit back before walking in. This is really important on the hero. You should just be sitting back and waiting for a good opportunity. Because what you want to do is Avatos. If you just avalanche 2 heroes, yeah, you just did 600 damage. And then you did a toss, but like, you could have done more, you know? Ideally, you would wait and you'd see Venomance and you're like, oh shit, that's a guy I can maybe solo kill. And then you blink Avatos him. Ideally. And maybe he dies. If he dies, maybe he doesn't get his ult, he doesn't have his ulti, but the faster he dies at the start of the fight, it means he's not participating. Like, this is so good before you guys force this weird engagement, basically. Like, Enigma is effectively useless without Black Hole, more or less, you know? Witch Doctor was effectively useless with only having Maledict and Stun. Not, you know what I mean. You're less strong than normal, and then you basically forced a 4v4. 3v4. So, that's why you lost that fight. Instead, you could just been here slapping towers while they keep running between you. Like, oh shit, they're top. Run top, you back up. Well, I guess we run bottom. They run bottom, you back up. Let's TP top. They TP top, and you back up. And in the meantime, every other lane is being pushed. But you stopped doing that, basically, because you got a little excited after the 1 kill. So this one's on you, Pugna, for sure. Oh no. I think you could time lapse there. Did you get missile?
I think I was done.
Oh, the F1 fight?
No, you definitely could have. You can time lapse through Frostbite. You just missed it. Oh, you got silenced. I'm sorry. You got silenced last second, but that looked like
I just
a good.
remember I was scanning R and then.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can time lapse through Frostbite.
Yeah. I think I was trying to hold it till last second, and I just didn't expect the silence.
And yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of what it looked like to me. And now so basically you guys all threw away your lives in this crappy fight, and you gave them a way back into the game. Now upon respawning, you're going to push out the lane again, but it's probably going to be a lot of the same stuff. Attacking is probably better. Now you're running away. I would have kept pushing. I don't even think you had vision of them being here, but that's another creep wave you could have gotten.
The Sixth Sense, he knew.
Yes,
You could feel him.
that was a kill potentially. You should be if you see a Veno or a CM like that, you should be looking for a kill. Now you guys are playing passively.
Yeah, our map vision's obviously pretty poor. They have significantly more wards than we do.
Last creep wave dies, and what do? You run into the jungle again. Should have kept pushing. Go push. All this is wasted time for Pugna. Weaver kind of doing the same thing. It's good you're getting creeps, but now you have to run after you're gonna kill the ancients or whatever. But like Pugna, you just ran all the way from bottom just to go mid for like 1 creep wave. You could have just killed this one, and then killed this one, and then killed this one maybe. Or if they show up, maybe I don't know. Maybe you get ganked, but at your level, it's probably not gonna happen. So generally, you guys are doing a good job pushing stuff out, but Octarine is not really a good item here. You should probably go Greaves instead, I would say. And Magic Wand, of course. Still no Magic Wands. Do they have wands? They also don't have it. Oh, that guy's got a wand, though. There's not a lot of wands on the enemy team. It will give you guys a huge advantage. If the wand saves your life 1 time, it's going to be worth it. Especially if it gets you a kill or experience first.
Yeah. Okay. I think the rest of this replay is pretty.
Okay.
Yeah. Not worth watching.
At the very end, though, it was like the last team fight was like, I mean, put the nail in the coffin.
Oh my god, this is a 1-hour game. Oh my god.
I felt like it was already gone. Like
it was probably already gone, yeah. Because
they
like
couldn't kill Elsie, Abaddon, or the Gyro, and like
Jesus, this game is very different than. Crystal Maiden only has an Atos at 60 minutes. What the fuck happened?
Okay, so obviously their Veno and their Crystal Maiden were like not really. Like, I think they were like considerably under, yeah. But then their 3 cores were really farmed, and I think they played like at least better than we did.
Yeah, when I watched the replay of this, I knew that in the last fight, we went for high ground without having with Roche still on the map. Like we had map control, and we didn't go for Roche on when we could have taken it really quickly. And we rushed the base without buybacks on the 3 people that died.
Yeah.
You're also a little underfarmed, I think, Pugman. Maybe you've died a little. Oh, you got a Fallen Sky. That's really good. I think you should. I guess Enigma could take it, I suppose.
I think we gave it to Tiny. But yeah.
That also works, yeah. I guess you have a couple Blink Heroes. You actually have pretty good neutral items. You bought Ags. Support Tiny, I don't think Ags is very good. Yeah, things like Halberd are probably better. You could buy Auras as well. That wouldn't be terrible, but Enigma already has most of them, so maybe that's crazy too. I can't believe you took this long to buy Greaves. I'm surprised. Wait, so oh yeah, Mech does give Armora.
Yeah, so you can see him just at the bottom, waiting until the LC leaves to try to force their team to come back. So LC leaves.
You can't backdoor though. Well, I guess you can.
Oh, good job, Randy.
That's what I was doing the whole game. I can't fight into their team.
So what you should do after this moment is you should just go push botting in, but you're just gonna jungle, I bet. Like, just kill the creep wave, you know? You can backdoor like this, but it's easier if you just kill the creep wave, you know? In the meantime, your team is dying. Always blast. Alright, this is good. Alright, and here, now you win, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We actually give
definitely
both
won.
of their rapiers, and then our Weaver gets dueled, and it's kind of over. I think he ends up killing himself on Blaze Mail or something.
No, he got dueled, and then he couldn't time lapse. Yeah.
Might as well send these back.
We still managed to throw this game with a 40k lead. Trust us.
I believe you.
Oh, 40k lead.
Well, yeah.
Oh
Well,
wow, we
it's the
did.
rapiers.
The
Rapiers.
rapiers fight payback, so
Somebody could have pushed out top, hypothetically. Or one person can run and cut the creep wave. Would have been a good thing to do also.
I didn't know we had such a big lead.
Like, if you guys already have mid racks, you shouldn't even gone mid. Go top instead, you know? Or I guess pushing up to get buybacks out of them is good. That part was solid. But this whole time, somebody could have pushed out top, you know?
Yeah.
Basically, if there's downtime between fights, you should think about pushing a lane. Is almost always where your mind should go.
Or hunt.
yeah.
We got some big quarter kills here.
Yeah, we lose the next fight, and then oh yeah, this is the
And you took a Sacred Relic out, so now it's like a 45k gold advantage. So what's probably going to happen is you guys are going to try to force this, thinking that you're ahead, and then
Oh yeah, we both smoke at the same time. I remember this. The other team smokes, we smoke.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she-
We
Okay.
did the dumb things.
wait, isn't this like busted on? What's all items? Okay, it's so
Ex Machina on the Enigma. So they had like double bottom. I think yeah, we just completely misplayed the last fight.
Yeah.
I just smoked bottom, but still didn't have vision. And then I think we ended up solo black holing the gyrocopter, and then we ended up.
oops, I missed it already.
Here.
So you smoked this way. Oh, you didn't BKB.
We were trying to sneak into the base.
You already BKB there. I'm confused.
Maybe it's a Reaper.
All right,
No,
don't
yeah,
initiate
yeah.
with Avalanche. Huge mistake. That's the first big mistake. Because then he gets, like, you basically allowed him to know that you were going in. If you, that was probably what lost you the game, basically. Sorry, one sec.
So I mean, we thought Gyro was a big hit. We took out Gyro right away, and then we got killed by Legion and Abba.
No, he
But
got back.
the problem was that it took a little bit. All right, maybe it didn't matter here, but it took longer to kill him than needed. You could maybe argue. Oh, and you got dueled. Sorry, one sec.
Weaver, shoot.
Actually, doesn't Enigma have a Ex Machina? You could ult it again.
Yeah.
I guess.
It doesn't refresh your spells. It's just your items.
Okay. It's just like,
Oh, it's only him.
Yes.
Oh, really?
So the mistake was that Weaver died basically,
yeah.
and then
GG.
Yeah. So good.
oh, and that was your diebacks from the last fight. Yeah. Yes, I would say you don't refresh, or Octarine's just not very good on Enigma. Like, it's better for that to be a refresher, in my opinion, is one thing. Like, the lower cooldown is okay, but, like, it's a lot of gold for this. I mean, it's only 5k, I guess, but something like refresher is better. If you have, like, Blink Refresher or Greaves, you can, like, Black Hole kill a guy, refresh, Black Hole kill another guy, for example. But you should have killed if you guys killed the gyro a little bit quicker, then it's easier for the fight to go better because you have a moment of downtime to look for the next kill, you know? Then it wouldn't have been like you guys got initiated on weird. Oh, Weaver probably should have time-lapsed. He lost like half his HP. He should have time-lapsed there probably to go back full again. And then you could resume fighting. But you didn't. You backed up with a Sakuchi, and then all of a sudden you're in melee range against the Legion. You didn't really have a lot of good options. So it was like just small mistakes, basically. But this is all like shit that genuinely doesn't matter much. It's like small, again, Tiny shouldn't have gone first unless he was going to like blink in and do like a toss combo to stun him for like a second and then follow up with Black Hole or something. But yeah, Legion just did a little bit too much damage. He was the biggest threat other than, I mean, Abaddon was not that scary, I don't think.
The Legion has 400 dual damage.
Yeah, he was the guy. He was the guy to worry about. Like if you killed Legion, there the game ends. So if you keep Weaver alive against Legion, then it's easy. Halberd or something on him, maybe you guys win. Okay, now that we've spent an hour and 15 minutes on that replay, let's start on the second one. I hope you guys don't have work tomorrow because we're gonna be up a while.
Oh,
if you notice, well, actually they don't show when these games are played. Yeah, if you look at the timestamp of the game that's played, yeah, work doesn't matter to us, apparently. I ended at 4:50
Oh god,
AM.
I see. It's very, very early.
What game is this?
Oh, which team are you guys?
We are Dire.
Dire again? Okay.
Was it all the when I'm playing position 1?
Okay.
Prepare for battle.
So
All right,
let's
roast
see.
me, senpai.
Let's see these items. Oh god, one sec. Parents watching TV. Okay. Now I am safe from the old people speakers. Items look good on everybody.
Oh, I remember. This was the if I die mid.
Alright, can you switch angles?
Oh no, it's not the other gyro game.
No, it's not. It's the one where Saul gave me all of his tangos, basically.
Oh, is this why you had 4? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the game where I don't think I was really effective as a Spectre. Like, I didn't lock down their supports.
Oh.
I pretty much let their Dazzle get off Shallow Grave every single time.
Yeah, Dazzle's a pretty good hero for it because he's got some time, but
The battle begins.
why didn't he
What's
right
going
click
on
you
here?
back?
I was right clicking you.
Shouldn't have done that. You should have probably planted a tree. Because otherwise, now you're going to be missing a lot of HP. You probably should use
It's not the
spells too, but.
Hooray!
And then down here we got a Prophet and a Legion. Okay, so it's support Prophet. I see. Here's the ward again in a place like right next to the lane.
That's where Prophet should be, essentially, right?
Generally, yes. And you should be using your dudes to abuse your opponents.
So in that general case, like, he shouldn't be feeding them to the tower. I don't know how much experience the chains give them.
It's it's enough where it's should be avoided. You should generally just fight with your trees. Like just Legion should be in the wave here. Nature's Prophet can be here with his trees in front of him. They'll basically be a buffer. But trying to micro them separately is just asking for a bad time. Like, and the same thing here. You're going to right click, but you're running through the creep wave. If you're over here, you just start hitting him. Sniper's range is 550. Your range is 600, so you can outrange him. And if he fights you, your trees run at him, and eventually they'll get hits in, and then you will trade better. But because you're positioning, this guy feels like he can still see, like, this is good. See how hard it is for him to fight you here? And then if it goes under tower, don't let him get the last hits. Ideally, don't let him die like that, because it's also experience. And now Sniper gets a bunch of right clicks off because you're not in the right position. You're spending so much time to run back and forth. Like all this time, Legion's playing a 1v2. And now they get to go for a kill because they've harassed him low enough that you guys have to fight to the death and Sniper's going to get a kill. Like this is literally because you sat too far back for too long. And maybe Legion needed to salve a little bit earlier as well. But basically you let Sniper bully you. So that's why that went rough. And now that they've got first bloods, it's going to be even harder. Like Pudge is basically a really shitty hero. Damage, like his damage is okay, but he dies really quickly. He's got high HP but no armor. So as long as you guys fight him, then it's not going to be a big deal. But if you're low, if you let them harass you like that and get easy trades, like they just traded better than you because Sniper was attacking you and you guys weren't doing the right thing to hit him back. So all of a sudden you have less HP and now Pudge is a good hero. But if you just fight him and trade well, and as long as you don't get hooked under tower or some shit, or like hooked way out of position, then Pudge is a shit hero in lane. That's why his win rate is low. But at lower MMRs it works because people make mistakes, they don't really trade, and eventually you hook somebody out of position and they get kills. Like you guys should be like bodying Sniper. You have 330 movement speed, he has 285. This is insane to lane Sniper in safe lane, in my opinion. And you should have TP'd right away, I can't believe. Are you really walking the whole way? I gotta walk a shame you. You walked a third of a way and then you TP'd? What is this? And by doing this, you didn't have Fountain Regen on you when you casted your spells. Sit in base, finish TP, and as soon as you get there, cast Nature's Call, and some of that 130 mana will come back from Fountain Regen. But not because you did it late. This is also the wrong time to be running at them. Your Treants and you should be over here. Just right here, right-clicking this guy like this. Instead, you're just sitting back, and he's getting free harass on Legion once again. Now Legion feels like he has to retreat to go heal back up, and now he's not getting last hits. And Sniper, with 2 Ironwood branches, is solo zoning you guys.
I remember we played kind of greedy this game because normally our Nature's Prophet he plays like a off lane or core position. So I remember I went to the jungle early to give him room to farm. Now I'm thinking maybe that wasn't the right play.
It's not, because the more important thing is that you guys get more last hits and denies. But you're having to sit so far back just solely because of the trading situation. Now this guy gets boots, which he feels like he needs because he's playing Sniper in the safe lane and he's up against a 330 movement speed Legion. Like, if you just zoned better and Legion gets a fast, like, Bracer, God forbid, like an Orb of Venom or something, Sniper is so fucked. Because any time that you get on top of him, his movement speed is going to be like 250. And you guys both right-clicking him at the same time means that there's no possible way that he trades well. Like,
I want to ask, in this kind of a matchup, and if we anticipated Sniper going bottom, do you think Legion should have gone Orb of Venom first item?
If you anticipate it, it's not. It's slightly bad. It's just safer. I think the Bracer is pretty safe because it gives you regen and stuff, but it's okay. I think, especially if you fight better at level 1. Like level 1, you guys were all grouped down here. The Pudge saw you guys. Like if you're gonna fight for bounty runes, what I want you to do is I want you to fight over here. So like don't walk down here for a bounty moment. Like Sniper's not gonna walk down to get the bounty rune because he's a sniper. But if you guys wrap around and you go look through the jungle together and then you find him standing here, then you fucking chase him down with an Orb of Venom. If you start Orb of Venom and you do that at the start, then it's worth it. But if you like show up to the laning stage and then you're like, I have Orb of Venom and the creep wave's right here, it's not very good because it's right by the tower, you know? So the Orb of Venom doesn't really get useful until the wave gets pushed out a bit. Like right now, Orb of Venom is good. But starting with it and then not going for an early level 1 fight is a mistake. So just generally stop like standing over here waiting for the bounty to spawn unless you have like a really defensive lane and you know that your allies are being aggressive other places on the map.
Okay.
Like, you're just really mismanaging your treants. You're trying to get trades here, but you know you can't fight Sniper because you're going to aggro the range creep, so he hits you. You guys haven't right-click Sniper in so long. But you do like 30% more, 15% more damage than him. See how much? Oh, you're running so much. Spawn trees, hit him, you know? You can still fight that a little bit. Pull the trees back now. Don't feed him. It's not just that you're giving away golden experience, it's that now you don't have treants, and now you're just a single hero. It's both aspects. And like, he's really smart in that every time you walk forward, he hits you. And that is enough for you to get scared. because you don't quite understand the value of your hero. So this is like a circumstance where like you guys could have beaten him because you genuinely had better heroes and matchups, but you got scared or something, or like you felt like they were stronger than they really were. They were not strong. Like, and now you're jungling because you're like, man, this lane was fucking hard. And now you're definitely gonna lose. Oh, this is why you went to jungle, I guess. If you were gonna jungle, 2 points in overwhelming odds is not smart. It's better for you to have more moment of courage or for you to press the attack. And Soul Ring is absolutely not needed, I don't think. Like, I don't know. You do a little bit of damage with that, I guess, but basically jungling is not very good anyways. And like, okay, you're getting experience in this lane, but Sniper's also getting absolute free farm, and there's no effing way you're ever going to contest and kill him by yourself as a level 3 hero. So like, you going to jungle, like, are you guys even getting more? Not really. It's more important that you dominate the lane and don't let him feel comfortable sitting pretty. So you guys basically let him, like, you didn't let him necessarily because he did a good job like right clicking you constantly, but you guys let him basically do whatever he wants. Nice hook by Pudge there. There's Pudge's value, but what has Pudge done other than that? Literally almost nothing. He was in the game and he scared you as a result. That was one thing he did. But and now you're struggling jungle because naturally jungling is hard because you have to do all the damage and tank everything. But yeah, you guys definitely could have bullied him. There's a reason people don't do sniper safe lane. Let him last to your dudes. Like, with that said, you guys are still kind of close, but this lane was kind of a train wreck from where it could have been. It's like you just got to be more confident. You got to know what your value is. You do 58 damage. Do you really have 6 base armor? Oh my god, that's freaking insane. 6 base armor on a ranged hero? What the hell? So you have stupid base armor. You've got a great animation. You've got good right click. You bought a blight. Your items are right. Your skill build is right. You just didn't play it correctly. You definitely could have done this. It was close. Alright, let's go watch a different lane. Can you kill Dragonite? Definitely not. You probably expected a lane against Sniper, in which case your hero would have been more useful. But I don't think Skywrath mid is very good right now, personally. Unless like you can maybe kill your opponent, but you're not going to be able to kill DK, so I don't know. It kind of works if you can get kills with your level and gold, basically. I would have used Arcane Bolt to guarantee that last hit. He's got pretty good damage. Use your nuke. It's going to do enough damage. It'll guarantee you the creep. Especially because you're full mana. Like, you're also maybe sitting back a little far. You can bully him a little bit. It's not going to work really well because he's got armor and regen. But, yeah, like, just hit him a little bit. Make him feel at least like he has to use the tango. There's like no way you kill him though. This lane doesn't look very fun. Just get as much as you can and then try to get to 6 quick and then go for a kill. Is what you should probably do. And not on him, probably on somebody else. Can pretty much watch this at accelerated speed because literally nothing is going to happen. Last hit wise, you're doing fine. It's good. You got bottle coming. I would say null talismans are amazing for a lot of interiors mid. So maybe that aspect of being. Oh, is this a kill? How did this happen? Did you just bully him enough?
I think he soul ringed and then I just added more damage.
Ah, he did. Yeah. Just really wish you'd used Ancient Seal before that nuke and before this concussive. Like you do kill him. He would have died if you did that. Because he would have taken 30% more from both of these spells. So it was good recognizing it. Yeah, Soaring is actually. Does he just die anyways? Oh no, he's gonna live. Oh no. Oh, you had the kill. Drop null talisman while you bottle. Oh, beautiful. You're probably so happy when you saw this.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, at least you zoned him. That was good. Okay, you got those two at least. But you missed a lot of the last hits there when he wasn't here, which is not good. But almost 6. Maxing Arcane Bolt first is maybe okay. It's not. there's negatives though. Like you get to cast more arcane bolts during a silence and a gank, but having more slow from concussive shot is sometimes better, more ulti damage, that kind of thing. Better for pushing creep waves. So maybe it's fine though if you're mid. This lane is real boring. I just want to see what you do when you hit 6.
Hooray!
One thing as well is I think you shouldn't use your regen when you did. You should have waited. Because you had like 200 mana when you used it. I would wait. I would like spend all your mana on creeps to get it to 0 and then use it. And then while it's going, just cast spells constantly. I think that would have been a better use of your regen. Because it feels like you're out of mana really quick even though you just got a regen rune. I feel like it could have gone longer. Anyways, bullying him at this point is basically not worth it. So just getting as much farm as you can I think is good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom
That was really close.
Yes, the stun, I guess.
Yeah,
And
he
you
kept spamming fire breath, so I assume he had no mana for anything.
This would be a really, by the way, this is like a really easy way to gank. I cannot believe you're still level. Okay, this is about the same time where we stopped watching before, but I was like, I can't believe you're still level 4. It's been so long. We went back in time though. I think maybe you could have killed him. I'm not sure. Get every deny. Oh, you really should be denying these. I guess you were tangoing.
In this case, the DK should just be hitting tower every once in a while, right?
Yes,
Because
you
if
should.
ulti.
Absolutely. I wish you would bring clarities to yourself. As Sky, get your mana back full. That way you can get a kill potentially. I really don't like the extra arcane bolts though. Like if you can only cast all your spells once, every extra point in arcane bolt is only 20 damage. That's the primary reason why people don't max it out first. Whereas if this was 4 points in concussive, it does an extra 180 damage instead of 60, which is a lot more. And the cooldown goes down, and the slow percentage goes up. So like in small burst moments where you only cast all your spells once, it's far better for you to max concussive. So considering the fact that he's a hero that's like difficult to kill, I don't really see it as valuable. If it's some hero that doesn't have as much crazy regen or an HP, then it's probably better to harass them down with arcane spam. But so I'd say your skill build is wrong here. And it's kind of scary to leave your lane because then he can, like, here's another issue that's going on. You're basically using bottle just to try to stabilize your mana and HP, but you definitely could have brought clarities as well. Like you should have brought these items and like 2 clarity potions. That way you can start pounding these to get your mana back up to full. Because now you've like the part of the benefit of mid is that you're getting a lot of golden experience and it catapults you into this position where you've got more levels than anybody else in the game. So imagine if your mana is full and you find a level 4 Dazzle or a level 5 Omni Knight or a level 7 Sniper. All of these heroes die so easily, but because you're not buying clarities, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to get these kills until you get a haste rune. And then it's easier to run all the way to the bot lane. Unfortunately, he is one of the downsides to running to a lane like this is that it's more likely they're going to spot you.
Oh, they have an aggressive ward, so they pretty much
Yeah,
saw him.
they had a ward here, so. And in the future, probably don't run this way. We can say that with hindsight, but it's almost always going to be better for you to run this way instead. To go like this. And then down. To try to catch them. Because there's more likely to be wards here, basically. This is the most common ward place in the early game. So running through the middle of the jungle is going to be more efficient.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, you're a little bit low on mana. So you do get the kill, but... Oh, you should... man, if only you had a wand. Maybe you could kill him. Oh, this guy even maxed out take aim. What a weird choice.
You're supposed to max out the Q first,
Like,
right?
if you had like 150 more mana, that guy dies for sure. And now you're maxing silence. Oh, interesting. It's every extra point is 5% more damage. It's kind of good because then they're silenced longer and you can land more arcane bolts, but I wouldn't get more than 2 points of Ancient Seal if I'm playing mid sky. I would probably want to max these out first, generally. Unless they have like a really evasive hero. So basically, the only thing that happens when you leave the lane is that they take your tower. But this guy didn't do that for some bizarre reason, so everything's fine. He should have used his ulti by now. He should use his ulti right there as well. He should be taking your tower while you go gank. But the fact that he isn't is very good for you. Hey, you brought clarity. It's nice. It's right of you to run away because that's just scary. Poor choice. You don't have enough mana to do this, basically. If you're not able to silence him as well, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's kind of a good ulti. He walked through it pretty heavily, but... Alright, never mind. It's going to work. I guess the way that I look at it is, like, you have so much capability to just fucking murder people by yourself that it feels like you're not doing it enough, I guess. Like you're not doing safe kill attempts, I guess, is what it feels like to me. And you're not quite executing it right, but that's just because your mana was low, I guess. Once you have Atos, it's easier, so maybe this feels like normal to you because, like, once you get Atos, you're gonna have insane damage, and that's why you don't max concussive while you go Ancient Seal, because you'll have more damage for sure. But until that moment happens, and if you have, like, if you're put in a game like this where you play like this and you have a tough time, then you're gonna just have a really bad performance doing the habits that you're doing in this game. I feel like where your mana isn't always fully full, so you can't do a full combo, and then if your allies don't back you up, then you're not gonna, like, you would never get that DK kill. Like if Legion didn't move over, or if he had just walked away, Dragon Knight probably could have tried to run away. It was just like some mistakes that they made for sure. Does he have a wand? He does. Okay, can't blame it on that. But well, and like you've almost got your Atos, and this is pretty fast considering. But against a better player, somebody would have ganked you maybe once, and once again, you still have like no mana. So I just feel like it still hasn't been the most ideal. This is where you guys realize the sniper does literally no damage, but wow, they TP'd literally everybody bottom, which is generally not that bad because now Spectre gets free farm, and Skye will take more breathe fire damage. At this point, I just would have gone back to heal. Honestly, you're spending too much of this game at low HP, low mana, and that's taking away opportunities for your hero. Like Skye core has to snowball a little bit because like in the late game you die really easily to like BKBs and stuff like that. So the fact that you haven't actually left your lane to get a kill except for that one haste rune is wrong, I think. And like even coming to gank here at 500 HP and 400 mana is insane because there's a good chance that all of a sudden they kill the level 10 mid hero. Like you are a resource that wants to be farmed by the enemy team. So you even trying to stop this is a mistake. You should have gone back and healed and then TP'd bottom if you wanted to do this. You cannot rely on just bottle to heal up. You have too much mana. And now you're walking forward and saying, alright, let's try to get something done. But you don't really know how to do it. And you don't really have enough mana. Like, you know that you can't do a full combo. If your mana's full, sure, walk in and force this shit. But not a half HP. Because now you feel scared doing it. Because you know that you're going to die really easily. And now you walk in. Nothing really happens. Now you're going to walk out. Now you've just wasted your time. And eventually somebody dies. Because... like, part of the reason you guys played up forward is because everybody was there. So you guys all feel like, well, I got to be ready for what's going to happen. You got to stop relying on that. You got to say, like, I'm going to walk in, and I'm going to use my combo, and I'm going to kill somebody, or try to kill somebody. And then everybody can go in. But, like, doing these, like, half-assed things, it's going to, like, bait your teammates to, like, still try. They get the tower anyways, and you still don't go back to heal. Ah! Alright. But luckily, they run into you.
No, this is the game where we got the Nature's super farm, Spectre was farmed, but the game just prolonged too long. We were down.
Did I go this one, Tim?
Yes, I think this is the one where you soldier. Was it the eggs? I don't remember exactly.
Oh yeah, because I was stealing the carries farm with Nature's eggs.
It wasn't just so much the farm that like we were Dazzle and I kept saving everyone I dueled. That was really annoying.
Yeah, I remember that.
Alright, let's go back and watch the laning stage for the carries. Winter Wyvern support's a little bit weirder because it's like your cooldowns are really long, so it's not as traditional to trade hits. It's like more of a defensive support in that way. It's like you'll do some damage, but it's not very possible to get solo kills. I'm confused. Who's their offlane? Oh, it's Pudge. Wait, no, Pudge went bottom. Oh, it's Omni Knight. That's right. So they role swapped at some point? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Weird. Okay, very good for the Spectre. Unfortunately, you guys pushed the wave a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. As long as you get all the last hits, which appears you are. You could have pulled here. Ward is good. I like this. You've clearly learned since last match we watched.
It's actually happened before that one, I think.
Okay.
Is there a way to pull the hard camp to the lane?
Yep.
Or is it...
Usually you have to pull it directly to the left. It's harder to pull it as a safe lane. You can. Do you know how to like drag the creep attack? Like basically, if you attack the camp and you stand here, they're not going to get all the way to you before they turn and run. So you want to stand at about the limit, which is maybe here. And then when they get to you, they're going to throw an attack. And as soon as they start throwing their attack, like their arm swings back to throw the attack, then you can start moving again because their attack is going to commit. It's like when you right-click somebody, but they're almost out of your range. And then as your animation finally finishes, you throw it. And it's like 900 units, you know? You know how that happens sometimes? It's like way longer than your normal attack. You can do the same thing with them. And then when their projectile's flying through the air slowly, you can drag it into your creep wave. So you can do it this way if you do that extra extender. But it's not easy. It's easier if your wave is so pushed that it's up here, and then you can just pull directly to the left. Same thing for the off lane, for the safe laners. They can pull it. You can pull it a little bit easier on this side because you can cut this tree, and then they don't have to run like this. They just run straight over. But it's easier to pull directly to the off laner because the leash is a little limited. So you definitely can. Or what you can do is do the super cool one, and you can cut the tree here, and you can pull directly up. That one works too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you cut like this tree right here, the single one, then you can just pull straight up. And it might help to cut like a couple of these trees, like 2 of these. Your carry could cut them with Quelling Blade, but yeah, you can pull straight up then. And then they'll follow down.
Do you have like a video or something where you do all this in demo mode or something? I'd love to see that.
I do not. I cannot help you.
For that, when you pull straight up, do you have to like still do the same trick with the projectile, or is it like
You might have to, yeah.
I think I have to stand in the tree line, like directly in the tree line. And
Somewhere
then,
like here. I could believe that.
Yeah.
But the creep wave probably runs right here. So you probably don't... Like minimum, if you just stand still and they attack you there, it'll create an aggro of like this. So any creeps in this circle will aggro to the thing. But if you drag it a little bit more, then your circle can be like more like this and you'll catch all of them. Which helps a little bit. This looks pretty good. You guys got a lot of harass in. This is the time where you needed to pull. You're looking to stack, which is fine. Should have gone straight up, not diagonal. It's a little bit more likely that it works based on squares, you know. Because you went angular, so it's like they spend a little bit more time in the square. Whereas if you go straight up, they'll be out of it a little bit faster. But you definitely should have pulled. I would have gone back and pulled right now. This creep wave is way too far pushed up, which means that Spectre can't go on them ever. Not that he necessarily would, but any other carry could potentially. And also, if he gets in trouble, he's farther from the tower, so you need to pull to like help reset the equilibrium a little bit. You should dagger for these last hits. Okay, you did, but you just did it late. And now Weaver, Wyvern, you're late on getting the pulse. So now you're going to do this one. So I think you've messed up this lane more than anybody else. It hasn't been bad because you guys did a good job harassing, but you forgetting to pull the last couple times is like really hurt your lane because it was like perfect before, but now they've had like tons of waves under their tower getting experience and catching up. Whereas if you pull a little bit, that's less experience for them, more experience for you, that kind of thing. Good try on that. Alright, pull finally working. Oh, you stacked it accidentally. That's not bad. And now everything's better. Spectre can last hit around his tower. If they're invading you like this, just play to the right instead. Yep, you figured this out just like that. You overstayed a little bit here, unfortunately. Now you're gonna die. It's too bad. Yeah, you just got a little too excited there.
Yeah, I don't think I even like discovered the reward for like another 2 minutes or something.
That's okay, at least you got the pull off. They definitely got some creeps tonight. That was a better retreat time, for sure. Good dagger. You need to pull again probably, but it's a little bit hard. Only thing you're maybe missing, Spec, is a magic stick. But other than that, it's going really well. She's using
Seems to
good.
be a big theme this session.
What is?
The mystic
Oh,
stick.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys.
I normally don't play. Well, actually, I don't play position 1 really often, so I just normally try to rush my small items instead of getting stick.
It is a small item though.
That's, yeah. Stick
It's a mana.
has 2 like branches still, and I have so much regen still. Like they
But
didn't really harass me.
You did buy a clarity potion though, and you did that because you ran out of mana. Like he just cast a spell on you. Here's 2 spells, 3 spells.
Yeah.
Like you almost died. All right, JK, you did die. No. All right, you almost died here. There's no way you die with a stick. That's like 60 HP, and now you're definitely not dying now that you have Helm. So now you've got stupid HP and. The new Helm of the Dom, or the new Necro one. All right, so everything else pretty much looks good for Spec. What I want to watch is your farming patterns as we transition out of the laning stage. So I'm just gonna speed up a little bit. But other than the lack of the little bit pulling not enough Wyvern, you've done a good job on this lane, I think. Inspector's done good, and that's why you're 6 and they're only 5. Now you're basically unharassable with your 6 armor. God, they cast so many spells on you guys. Could have had so many stick charges. Alright, now things a little bit hairy. Oh, this is so beautiful. You're gonna have an Iron Talon. God, you can farm so fast this game.
Well, watch me disappoint you by how often I use it.
Okay, that's alright. It's still 15 attack speed. This is about the part of the game where everything gets a little dangerous. Everybody's levels are enough where they can maybe solo kill you. I would honestly consider just jungling at this point. I mean, you're really hard to kill with a Helm, but... Caught in the creep wave a little bit. I think you can get some of these last hits yourself. It doesn't have to be the Hellbear. Like, you've got so much regen.
Yeah.
Like, maybe kill the catapult, but, like, you really don't need to be here any longer, I don't think. It's too dangerous, see. Like, you can feel it. They're pressuring you. Good deny. Catapult's dead. Now you can definitely leave. Oh, they're all leaving. Never mind. Don't leave. Now you got an easy lane, which you recognize by pushing. Oh, nice. And you got a new Hellbear. You should keep pushing the creep wave. Alright. Here's the first mistake you made. Rather than going to jungle, push the wave.
Oh, I think it was because I saw Nature's keeping in.
Okay. In which case, that's fine too. But it's just a little bit easier. It's a little bit better slightly for you to do it. Oh, good try at the stack. Almost. You could bring more clarity. Oh, you got one. Never mind. Iron Talon. Dang it. Iron Talon. Yep. This all looks fine. I maybe would have done the other one, but...
Can you talk a little bit about neutral items? Like any specific ones we should be looking for?
Basically, like, whatever works best for your heroes and their setups. Broom Handle, like, these look fine. Ironwood Tree should not be on the Wyvern, it should be on a core. Generally, it would be on, you should put on a Skywrath Mage. Almost always is better. Because, like, cores, they generally need the stats a little bit more. They're typically farming, so having a little bit more damage is going to accelerate, whereas the support does a lot more standing around, so having 6 less damage doesn't really matter that much for support. And also your cores are higher net worth, meaning that if they die, it helps your opponents a lot more. So letting your Skywrath have +6 attributes is like, it might seem like a smallish thing, but it's pretty helpful, especially because of Arcane Bolt. I mean, it's like 10 more damage with his Arcane Bolt if he has that, so that would be helpful, for example. So usually let it be on cores. Iron Talon should go on your farming heroes, like your 1 position typically. But other than that, it's fine. Broom Handle is great. Even if you don't have another melee hero, throw it on whoever. But usually cores. Does that answer about what you meant? I can answer it again later on when we see other items, but...
Pretty much.
Okay. I probably would have bought boots if I were you too. Just because it's going to help you get from camp to camp faster. and then just keep bringing clarity potions probably. Like right now what you should have done, walked here, and then daggered through this. It would have killed basically the rest of these, and then you can use that movement speed to get to the next camp faster. And the dagger would have then damaged this camp as well. So you would have done 240 times 6, which is a shitload of damage. It's like a 1500 damage, way better than you right-clicking. So you're farming pretty quick, but it definitely could be faster. Also, if you were running to the right, cut this tree down. That way you walk there directly instead of walking around like this. It's only going to save you like a fraction of a second, but if you do that like 15 times in the next 10 minutes, it'll save you, you'll get like 1 extra camp. You also kind of ran a weird way to farm the next camp. Like, this camp was closer, so now you spent extra time walking over here to farm. But what was the purpose? Like, it's not like there was a, like, if there was a wave coming to your tower and you wanted to get there faster, then sure, farm this camp on the way. But because the camp wasn't there, you would have been better off probably to clear this one and then go this way, or clear this one, stack it, clear it, then clear this, then clear this, then clear this, then push out the wave. You know, you want to do things in a line to be as efficient as possible, because you'll farm a little bit faster. You're doing a good job. Like, you're definitely farming quite fast, but it's like, this is just one of those things. Oh, this is great. Stack is beautiful. Okay, excellent. I would dagger this. Oh, never mind.
I think I started seeing people rotate top, so I had to leave.
Really shouldn't have let him get that. That was a lot of gold. There are people top for sure, so definitely just ditch. Go jungle instead.
Dire's top tower is under Radiant's top. Radiant's bottom tower.
Losing that Hellbear was a pretty big deal, actually, because it's hard to replace. It does so much damage. Not only does it have an attack speed aura, but it also has an AoE damage nuke. And none of these other neutrals do that. That's why I look down and I'm like, these all suck. You don't even really want a Centaur, because it doesn't do as much damage as the Hellbear, so... It was fine you guys let that tower die. And look what you guys are doing. You're doing stuff on the map. The only thing you're really missing, sentries. Make sure they don't have vision, you know? I would take this one, Satyr. Hey, you did it! On the one guy I wanted to live. That's okay. But yeah, like, you gotta keep the neutral up. The fact that it does 60 more damage, well, it does less now, but you really need the neutral to accelerate your farm. Oh, that's good. It has an animation now, so you can see it's the helm. That's good. Might have been worth it for you to buy like a Wraith Band or something too, honestly. I don't know, maybe not because you bought helm, but... Yeah, maybe it's fine. At least boots. I think boots minimum would have been valuable. Is your courier going? Push out the wave after this camp. This is a big mistake. First big mistake you made in a while farming. All these beautiful creeps. Beautiful juicy creeps. Kill this creep, kill this creep. Like, why are people going to be up here? Well, that's not true. They should technically be playing in this area, but they aren't currently. So
I don't think they have vision. Possibly.
Yeah, you definitely don't have vision, but let's go see what it'll look like. From your perspective,
so
without
support, is the job of the support to like ward up for the Spectre to farm, because it's obviously a very hard carry, so secure jungle.
Generally, you're right, but because this is the dangerous part of the map, not really. Like, I don't want you to spend a lot of time on it. Like, sometimes people will be like, hey, we're playing in this area, so we're going to put a lot of wards down. But, like, putting, like, 2 or 3 wards in this area is just not very good, typically, because it's going to... You're not going to want to play here anyways. I think for a Spectre, it's kind of good to maybe, like, ward in this area and maybe one over here, because if Spectre can just, like, do circles in the jungle, you'll get your Radiance at a decent time. And Spectre also can't, like... You're kind of you're a snowbally hero. You need time basically to get Radiance, and once you get Radiance, then everything's amazing. But the problem is that, and you are a little bit pressurable, so it would be kind of good to cover her, I guess. But I probably wouldn't commit more than a ward, and I wouldn't play up here. I would continue to play in their jungle like you should. But if we look on the map right now, we can see like a lot of their heroes, so you can probably play aggressive. Also, you feel really far ahead to me. Again, bring clarities. You would farm faster.
Still the original clarity I was holding the entire time.
I think so too.
I don't think I ever used it.
If you're just using it to nuke like 1 camp at a time, it's not that incredible. But if you do 2 camps at a time, it's the clarity will pay for itself, for sure. I would have used that just for the mana. And also, when you haunt in on somebody, you could use it. It's also very good on Skye because you can do Atos combo stuff. But see, like how you're slightly inefficient on your pathing, you know. Here, then you run in a circle, then you're running over here a little bit. You are doing a really good job stacking, and then farming this is also really good. So you're like close to farming quite efficiently, but you're just a little bit off. If you had boots, you would get here faster. you'd use your clarity already, you could dagger.
Do you think Helmdom is still viable in Spectre, or
Yeah,
should it just go back to Soul Ring?
I think it was really effective here because you got a
Well, after
stupid
the nerf.
fast. It's probably still okay for you to buy it even after the nerf. If you get a neutral that has AoE, like the Hellbear creep is amazing for you farming camps. You just need to bring more clarities. Like it's Helm is really good for a carry in the sense that it gives you. It's not that expensive. Okay, it's pretty expensive. 24 is kind of a lot. The buildup is pretty decent though, and once you finish it, you basically aren't harassable in your lane. Is why it's kind of good. And for Spectre, not dying is really valuable. And then, but it also helps you jungle stupid fast if you have something like a Hellbear, because you can clap almost every neutral camp, and with Clarity's dagger as well. So you can like clear faster. So that's like that's why people buy Wraithbands basically. They want an item that's going to give them like generic stats and attack speed, which helps them jungle, and mana and all that stuff. And Helm kind of does the same thing. It's just a little bit expensive, but even 25 base damage is still a lot. So I would say it's probably still okay for carries to buy it. But you have to be a carry that... I feel like it fits better on Spectre. For other carries, I would say no. Like, I wouldn't want you to buy it on a PA, because PA wants as much damage as possible. And it's not... Her survivability is not as important. But for Spectre, it like fits kind of perfect, right? You have a lot of HP normally, so armor is amazing. Regen is really good if you're jungling for a long period of time. The neutral is helpful for you passively jungling. But for a PA, like, jungling faster is good and all, but it's like easier just to buy like a Deso for 3,000 gold and to kill people and neutrals, you know? Whereas like buying a Deso on Spectre doesn't matter. It's like you just want to buy time and accelerate yourself to the Radiance. And once you get Radiance, you're fucking set. You can farm anything. So for any hero that like is aiming for a Radiance afterwards, it's probably not that bad to buy Helm of the Dominator. I wouldn't want to buy it on probably like Wraith King, because he's already got enough survivability from his lifesteal and his ulti. But for a hero that like benefits well from survivability, I think it's pretty good. So some carries, yes, but the majority probably no. That dagger could have been this direction.
Yeah.
Small thing would have saved you a second.
Like a drums here. Now that like Helm the Dominator has been nerfed, like do you think drums is like a decent replacement?
Yeah, drums is great. It's like basically the classic old stats, mana regen, movement speed. Yeah, drum is definitely something you could swap out. Again, I still wish you had boots, but for all those other heroes I mentioned, you could buy drum and a Wraithband and basically
This is
accomplish
before
something.
the patch, I think, right? For the Helm of the Dominator.
Probably, yeah. It won't show, I don't think. But yeah, probably was. So the only thing that's really missing out of your play so far is that it's 20 minutes in and we haven't seen a hunt. I think it's okay considering that you've been still farming pretty rapidly. But because you don't have boots, because you don't have a wand, because you've been a little bit low on mana, it hasn't really been a possibility. And I haven't been watching you in player perspective, so maybe you were looking at fights. But it can be really nice sometimes to like haunt in, get a dagger kill, and then go back. It'll accelerate you a little bit. But I think at your MMR, it's probably not that big of a deal, honestly. But I do really wish you had boots of speed. Because now it's like you have everything that you need except you don't have boots yet, so it feels like you're still limited. And on a hero like Spectre, again, please buy a wand. Because your whole thing is, I am tanky and hard to kill, and whenever I take damage, I reflect. You have a built-in blade mill, but you don't have an extra 300 HP that you could have by having a magic wand. And I think most pros will buy wand even before Radiance. At least stick. If you're trying to shave off some gold, just buy a stick alone and leave it there. Alright, your haunt is amazing because you got Radiance. You maybe could have showed up. Probably should have showed up, but maybe not because you don't have boots. This guy is really trying to reinvent Sniper here. What is the 144 build with S and Y Blitz Knuckles? It's so weird. I think that Sniper is going to be a really good player in like 2 years, is my guess. But he's not quite there.
Spoiler alert,
He wrecked us.
Oh, because he seemed like a good player, but he's just made really weird skill build choices and item choices. Arcanes on Skyrath for the Bloodstone. It's potentially okay. You can refill your mana a lot quicker. I guess it's alright. I'll let it go. They've got 4 staffs, unfortunately.
Dire are scattered.
Killing creeps, great. Now your team smokes and runs for it. I like this smoke, that was good. You guys are crazy to keep fighting. The fight was pretty over, I think. Okay. Oh, that stun actually really messed you guys up. And the DD mostly. If there wasn't a DD there, there's no way that fight goes well. But Tread switch. Every time you cast dagger, switch to in treads. This might be a good game for phase actually. Over treads. Treads is good too, but if you're against a hero like Sniper who's really slow and you can get on top of him instantly, something like phase is really busted.
As a carry, how do you determine whether to go phase or treads?
So it kind of
It's not just
depends. It depends on, so mobility is one thing to consider. How bad do you need the ability to gap close? So Jug, part of the reason that phase is really good on him is because it helps you get close enough to cast Omni Slash or to use phase after you spin, basically. If you have a mobility advantage, if for example, I know that if you're full HP and Sniper's full HP, if you get on top of him, you will kill him first every time, especially if he's not by creeps, because any of the damage he does to you, you're going to reflect some of it, and you're going to get Desolate, and you have a more HP than him because you have a higher HP hero. But if Sniper is faster than you, then maybe having a little bit more HP and more attack speed is going to give you a better chance at killing him. Or like, for example, you're already faster than him with just Spectral Dagger, so you don't need extra movement speed by phase, with phase. So I guess phase is kind of bad. Treads is probably better against Sniper, I would say. But what about Pudge? Pudge hooks you, catches you. Phase might be better, because then you have extra movement speed to get out of the rot chase, for example. Something like that might be something to consider. I would honestly even just dagger this guy right now and run at him. You shouldn't, like, you guys were generally just too scared of him. It's a fucking Sniper. If you dagger him, he is slowed. See how dumb this was, what he just did? This is why he's not a good player yet. He'll be a good player in 2 years, because he'll stop doing dumb shit like this. I cannot believe he walked into your jungle by himself and started right-clicking a Spectre with a Radiance. It's fucking insane. You probably could have solo killed him. There.
It's gonna go bad when we lose.
You just had to get on top of him first, and it helped when anybody else showed up as well. And now you go back to jungling. You're too many circles here. So what's one thing you guys aren't doing very well right now?
What, pushing?
Yeah, pushing lanes. I get when your sniper, when the enemy sniper solo ganks your jungle, it feels like everyone has to show up, but one thing you also could have done, Spectre, is when you didn't know what to do, just TP bottom and start running. Because eventually, like, I know that these creeps are on this tower, but eventually they're going to be here. So you could eventually head over there. You should probably be on Agi treads while you're jungling. Because you'll do 10 more damage and 10 more attack speed. There you go in Manta, which is a little weird this game. It's okay, but it's not really that useful. I think you could have maybe...
Or catch.
That's not bad, because if you go on Sniper with the Fiesel, he's really not getting away. So that aspect would have been kind of good. Manta's not bad, though. You can push out lanes with it. Your team's all bottom. I think you're jungling a little bit too much, maybe. I feel like you've only been on your side of the map, you know? But your team is doing the right things. You guys killed towers. That dagger was good. I would start moving over. I just feel like you're only ever on your side of the map, and that isn't good. There's like times you could be pushing out the creep wave or helping to set up any kill. Like, even if you just dagger somebody, it's not a great slow, but it also gives you vision of them. Once again, creep wave's gone, you're scared to move forward. You definitely should have taken this one, without a doubt. You've haunted, but you never reality either. You could have realityed on Dazzle and tried to force something because your allies were in the area, you know?
Yeah.
But instead you're just jungling again. But you probably could have killed that guy. Most likely. Unless he TPs. Like, all he's got is a Force Staff. Now, once again, your team is all on their side of the map, but you never cross the river. And yeah, you're going to farm decent, but hey, look, now your team finally gets engaged on, and you're not there, and you've wasted Haunt, so you're going to show up late. That's why you got to be a little careful about using Haunt in the right way. Like, you never really force that many fights, and at this point they all have, like, decent items for getting away from you, all 4 staffs. But this is a good time to fight them. They can get away from you a little bit, but who cares? You can still catch up and kill them. So I feel like that would be more valuable. Alright, that's probably enough watching Spectre, I think. Anything else? What do you guys want to look at in this replay?
I'm looking at the Dota buff, and that fight right there around like the 27 mark was the last time we had our peak in terms of experience and net worth. So the whole game just snowballs towards Radiant at that side. And so at the end of the game, it lasted like an hour, I believe, right?
Yeah.
All those games lasted for like an hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
17 minutes.
So let's see what everybody else is doing in this meantime. Part of the problem is that, like I said before, Skye doesn't scale very well unless he keeps getting kills. You kind of have to like keep ganking heroes to be successful. But let's see what you guys are doing in the meantime. Also, if you're playing support Prophet, usually you don't want to buy damage items. You want to buy like aura ones. Your Legion was also off to a rough start. It's not terrible, but it could be better. Dragon Knight is also farming pretty good all game. He's pressuring tower. You guys are pressuring tower. This is good. Tower's dead. I would say as Skye, I would consider looking for solo kills rather than pushing waves like this. It's probably better for you to like play, like when you play Skye, you kind of have to play him a little bit like a support, and that's one of the reasons he's not as functional as a core. It's because you basically just need to be, you're like a really strong support right now, and that you can solo kill. You're like a strong Witch Doctor, basically. You just showed them where you were by standing here next to the thing. But what you need to do is sit here and get ready for solo kills. Like, I don't know why you ran all the way back, for example. And then this is where you guys went for the Pudge kill. I don't know why you didn't silence him right away. For example. You gotta be quicker with the combo.
I use silence very rarely.
He gets graved. Oh, he got damaged for that. Rough.
I think I kept thinking I was gonna silence Dazzle, but
yeah,
Dazzle never showed himself.
Yeah, I guess you.
Before, I think we went back a little early because like it was close to the 15-minute mark, and we wanted to get the rolls. But some decision was made, and we decided to fight instead.
I really wish you pushed out this creep wave more. And then Prophet did it, at least. But same thing. Wave sitting here, nobody's getting it. You guys are all jungling. Yeah,
So the Prophet went from like a support build to like right-click key build. What are alternative item builds that you could go with Prophet for like more mid-game?
I mean, or Vlad's is different now. Vlad's isn't as good. It's probably fine that he bought Desto, I guess. I need to maybe watch more Prophet guides to be, or games to be more up to date on his itemization. He's been playing in the right places of the map. He's been pushing lanes effectively, but you guys are inefficient at getting kills. Other than that, like you should be in way more fights in this as Skye, and you should have more solo kills. You've only got 1 kill right now. Like you can solo kill almost everybody in this game. Prophet eventually gets killed pushing out top. This is what the delicate balance of pushing. At this point, if you're approaching a tier 2, you shouldn't be here, because all they're just like, this is insane. You shouldn't be within tower range. They're gonna glyph and the creep wave is gonna die, or they're gonna come kill you and you're Prophet and you can't get away. And you actually just died to poison. So like push up to the tower, but then back up in jungle. It's so important that when you're pushing side lanes like this, that it's easy for me to say, guys, push lanes, but you have to always know when to back up. Because if you do this and you die, then it's gonna teach you that you shouldn't push in some ways, and then that's not good either. But if you push up like this and 2 people rotate and then you go back to jungling, then it's going to give you more time on the other side of the map to get kills. But you're not really being efficient with that either. And if you look at all of your observer wards too, look where they are. This one is okay, but every other ward is way too defensive. Way too defensive. You want vision slightly outside their towers so that Skye can find people to get kills, so that Legion can find people to duel. But your wards don't do that right now. In the slightest. And Spectre's over here, so like You have some vision, but and you should be running. Like again, you're wasting time, Sky. You should not be the one hitting creeps. You should like sniper shows up in the jungle and ideally you're nearby and you go for a kill, kind of a thing. But unfortunately they have 4 staffs, which is a little bit tough. But you're kind of like, and now you're finally smoking and going for a fight, but now your ward's already gone and you guys have given up a lot of ground. Like you didn't need you and Wyvern to come over here to cut a creep wave. Like you could have stayed here by yourself or farmed in a neutral camp while you waited or something. Smoking at night time is really hard. I have no idea where Sniper is, but okay, good, you got the kill. I was scared you were gonna lose it. You should nuke him for the vision. Definitely don't like this skill build. I think way too many ancient seals. You're not using it that well, and most importantly, concussive shot would be lower cooldown, so you could use it more often in the fight. But your lineup is kind of just countered. Having a core Skywrath is just kind of countered by being against a Dazzle support, so it makes it harder. Was it the 27-minute mark that you guys were talking about the fight?
Yeah, that was like the peak
okay.
of our...
I'm sorry. I thought I must have jumped too far back.
I assumed something like we could have done something in the between like the 20 to 25 mark to push the game or something, right? Because like, I don't, unless how do you come back from whatever happens?
You just have to gank more efficiently.
Or
Like
smokes, maybe?
this guy could have died with 1 hero. Not again. Smokes is you thinking of like a way that feels easy to start a gank, but all of the easy stuff that I explained in the last replay should be happening more often. This TP was unnecessary, probably. Either way, it's still pushing, but you guys are trying this like lazy gank again. Go back push lanes. Spread out again. But don't always. This is really good. What happened at the start of this? Good ulti there. This is fine. Everybody should run away. Ideally, you'd have one person hitting this tower. Prophet, you maybe could have TP'd too to beat on it in that moment, but everybody TP's top. That means Sky should go down here right now. Prophet, you definitely seem to be a little bit aware of where you should be pushing, which is good. Now they'll glyph, I'm sure. Or not. They're just bad. Alright, so now you get a tower. Now you can take the outpost. Perfect. Now your wards should be on a line like this. If you put like 1 ward here and 1 ward here, then the game is yours, basically, as long as you push out top a little bit. Now you should be killing mid. Unfortunately, you don't have vision, so you're messing up a little bit. Sky, you're choking a little bit here. You could have used anything. Kill this guy, maybe. I don't know why you guys are running away here. You could have tried to kill Pudge at least. Like, maybe they grave, but look, he actually wasn't even there. Pudge just would have died right now if he did that. Instead, you guys are running away. You're kind of just playing scared a little bit for some reason. And eventually Sniper is going to be scary against you, Sky. Concussive shot to push waves, so it does AoE. Yeah, you could have... Alright, let's look at the full map. You definitely could have haunted in and killed this guy. He had already used Force Staff. You would have slowed him down and killed him. You could have killed Sniper by yourself, actually, too.
Yeah. I don't think I did a really good job using my haunt this game. Like, the entire game, I just haunted for essentially vision or waited for a team fight.
Let's see what you looked at when you did it.
I don't think I looked at anything.
You saw it, you pressed haunt, and you went back to farming, which is a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get 2 kills here or something, then you guys can take Roche, or you can pressure a different tower, you know? But
yeah,
if you're not collecting kills with your ultimate, then you're putting yourself too far behind. A lot of people standing around. Somebody should have pushed this a little faster. Once again, you guys don't have vision. And what's going to happen is they're going to initiate with a stun on Skywrath Mage, and you guys are going to have a bad time. This could have gone much worse. And your Prophet killed him. Prophet kills Skywrath Mage.
I didn't get a kill for that.
For some reason, yeah. So basically this went bad because sentries, lack of vision control. You guys are sort of playing in the right area, but your vision isn't good, and Sky, you haven't been playing aggressive enough. It's mostly just vision issues. Like you guys keep running through the jungle looking for kills, but you're not making it easy on yourself with good observers and good D-wards, basically. That's kind of what's holding you back this game. And Spectre also wasn't forcing anything because he was farming too passively. So that's why this game kind of fell out of your hands, because you guys just weren't doing enough. You've got decent items and stuff, but they're just going to slowly outfarm you. There we go. Spider Leg's pretty good on Spectre. Mindbreaker is probably better over Aquila. You could use it to like solo kill the sniper really easily. Prophet pushing side lane's good, but everybody's still playing too passively.
Radiant are scanning.
Hey, a free kill. You guys lucked into a free one? Well, kind
I think
of.
that's
Like,
the last kill we got.
seriously? Ooh.
Not the last kill like in totality, but it was kind of like the last time we felt like we were in control of the game.
I see.
Because
Wyvern.
afterwards, I think, because we're essentially scared of the Dazzle the entire time, which is the reason why I feel like, you know, LC was uncomfortable going in. I was uncomfortable going in.
Yep.
I never got vision of Dazzle. I think they just really.
Yeah, the Dazzle was pretty much always like.
You
I
know
think
what's
the
like-
Dazzle played well.
What's a great way to get vision of Dazzle is to haunt.
Haunt him.
So
yeah.
basically, if you guys wanted to start a good fight, the easiest thing is to haunt. Sky can go on somebody, and Spectre can always reality on top of Dazzle. Or after you haunt, Legion can blink dual Dazzle if within range. You know, put Spider Legs on on Legion, and then when the shit's ready to go, you just Spider Leg phase and you blink and duel the guy. Then you guys win the fight every fucking time, pretty much. That's what you should
The
have done.
Omni-Knight would obviously also.
That's true.
Boss his ult too, right?
You're
It's
right.
like
Maybe it's not instant, but it would be easier. Here's another example. You guys pushing. Wraith Wyvern move forward and put a ward down. This is really good, but watch what everybody else does. Same shit. Straight down the middle. Oh no! And you guys did a Winter's Curse, which was kind of good. But look how hard it was for everyone else to follow up. Everyone is behind the tower, and you have to run through. Like, this is where the shit's gonna happen, and you guys have to run through it now and pass the tower to get a fight. But if two people were sitting on the side, like if Wyvern's over here, and I don't know, Prophet's not exactly a support here, but like probably Legion. Legion and Wyvern should probably be over here, maybe Sky. Legion and Sky, something like that. And then as soon as that guy comes forward and the Winter's Curse goes down, the fight should be easy. Because you'll have follow-up. Because you guys will be in position. You won't have to be like, oh, we got shrapnel, we're running away. Oh shit, we're going in. Oh, now we have to go back down again. It's the same thing as before. If you're planning to push a tower, you need to have wards and D-wards in the area. Like if we look at the ward sentries purchased in every single one of your guys' games, it's going to be atrociously low. 14, 10, I'm surprised it's this high. Because it doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel like you guys are buying that many wards to me. Because every time you move into these areas, you're not doing any dewarding. That's a lot of the vision control. And now Skywrath Mage gets gone on because DK's in the backline, which is normal. And that is something you're going to have to deal with as being like a 4-armor hero. Is that he's going to try to kill you, but you really got to cast your spells faster. You should have dumped everything on him right there. He's going to invis now and get away. That's rough. That was 100% a kill. And what happened? Only Wyvern died there. Surprisingly. Now you guys have to go back and reset again. And as time goes on, they get more and more scary items. No need to TP mid, Prophet. If Spectre's already here, you could have gone top, killed this, and then pushed out the wave. The wave's probably here. There it is. I didn't even know that. Alright, you would have died. But maybe it would have been okay. You jungling a camp with Wyvern is a waste of one of your guys' time, basically. Ideally, you're farther up, ready to get a kill. You can't kill DK by yourself, but You know, you guys are just always playing without wards and ward control, and it just prevents you from playing in the areas where you need to play to get kills. And this is why it always feels like all you can do is smoke, because you're not controlling stuff with sentries. Shouldn't you use blink there? If you're coming to get a kill, save the blink until the last moment, because now if you spot somebody here, you're not going to have blink ready. If you wanted to get here faster, use Shadow Blade instead to approach. And then when your smoke breaks, you're still invisible, and you'll still have a better chance to catch somebody. Ooh, who was that? Yeah, that was a good duel, I was going to say. Ooh, unfortunate. Now you all die. You probably should have gone Blade Mail over Shadow Blade if you already had Blink. If you have Blade Mail there, maybe he dies. Once again, you guys don't have detection. Oh, you've got a little bit, but... that's every man for himself. Like, they definitely countered you with their Dazzle and Omni. It's really effective when you have burst heroes like this, but you guys still could have outplayed it, I think. Like, there's been 17 kills, Spectre's only been in 5. That's really bad. That's another issue going on here.
Yeah, we only get 7 kills for the rest of the game. For the next half hour.
Oh no, not again. Oh, this is not bad. Hey, Spectre showed up. Easy. See how many more kills you guys can get. Instantly to jungle? Guys, they have dead heroes. You keep going. Yeah, like, they're probably gone, but let's walk high ground, see where they are.
I just wanted to find my wand.
Alright, they
guys.
were gone. I thought there was another hero. Am I crazy? I swear there was another hero. He must have TP'd already.
TP'd out, yeah. But we probably should have just trained bottom and then started threatening their tier 3.
I think this was okay. Somebody could have gone mid, though. Seems like you're on different pages a little. I guess Butterfly's kind of bad because he has MKB already, but
I don't think I get the butterfly. I do check the items. Or actually, I don't know if it was a skill.
what did you end up buying? Do you remember? By the way, they...
I think I had a hard time itemizing.
Okay.
I think I wanted to eventually get something like a... I forget what the item is called. The one that builds from Relic. And like the spells.
Nullifier.
Oh, Nullifier.
You guys played too passively the last 30 seconds, by the way. You got a double kill and everybody played on their side, your side of the map again.
So we tried taking Roche and I realized I was too weak to fight it.
You should be pushing out a wave. Not, you're just definitely just ancienting and jungling way too often. Yeah, you did go Butterfly, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, changed to Heart, never mind. Heart is okay. I think I would prefer that you went some like hybrid item, because they're gonna break you and then your passive goes away and then you're just kind of like, you do like no damage. Your build is a little too defensive, I think. Something like Nullifier would have been really good though, for sure, because of the 4 staffs. Pushing lanes while we wait is good. Did not like that TP though. Alright, good. You should be instantly jumping over here, Spectre. I cannot believe you haven't gone in, to be honest. Because, like, at this point, it should be really obvious that Pudge is out of position. Right here. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
They're not even all here. Omni Knight's not there. Dragon Knight's not there. This is a 5v3. You guys should be going crazy right now, like jumping in. You should have jumped on Sniper, daggered him, and manted, and killed this guy. Him getting away is bonkers. This should have been at least a double kill on somebody. Either one of these guys should be dead. It was good that you tried to fight though, but you guys needed to commit. It's like another example. This one's harder because like it's really scary to go up here when you're defending the tier 2, because they probably have vision advantage. But when you realize that DK's bottom and that the Omni is mid, then everybody goes in hard, because there's a really good chance that you get at least 2 kills, and only one person dies tops.
Yeah.
You almost died.
Everyone
I
has
remember
Shadow
that
Blade.
duel. Was that the duel when you specifically said, "Watch me duel," and then ENTP is super far away?
Oh yeah.
Oh god. let's not go back to that. I don't want this kid to see this one.
Radiant are scanning.
Spell Prism's really good on Spectre, maybe. No, it's probably better on Sky, actually.
I think I eventually get like Illusionist Cape and I use that to split push.
Sounds good.
So.
Still jungling too much on your side of the map. Like, you can be the one pushing, you know? Like, this one thing you never did for your team this game. Like, think of how do you guys start fights? It basically has to be like, and this is maybe the piece that's been missing this whole time. I keep talking about like vision in the area. You basically need to have vision. That way Sky can find the right people to initiate on. Imagine if you were the bristleback of this game. You're up here pushing. Force them to fight into you. Like, you're not going to die. You've got so much HP. You're very farmed. You're like not insanely farmed and maybe you can die. But if your team is in position, you should be fine. In fact, you're fucking fine. You've got Cold Embrace and you've got Press the Attack. There's no way you die if your team is semi near you. If you're here and the rest of your team is here, you're not going to die. Like, you played the entire game on your side of the map in the jungle. That's why you have 0 deaths. Because you're basically like the support and lane that sat behind his team. Like behind his the whole game. You didn't attack towers. You have heart. You just sat back and waited for your team to like start fights and you planned to show up. But you didn't even show up very well, is the thing.
Yeah.
Which makes it harder. Like you basically never gave your team an opportunity to have a, like, they could have played better, but you could have helped create mistakes from your opponents basically, and you never did that because you were just jungling, and you didn't jungle that much faster than Sniper. Well, you jungle a little bit faster, but Sniper got way more kills and assists because he actually showed up to fights in a good way. So that's why his net worth was a little bit ahead of yours. So I think that's basically what hurt you guys, just way too much passive play, and the Sky mid has some issues, like in the fact that it's really bad at finding setups because you're yourself very vulnerable. All right, let's see if you do a good job on this fight though. Smoke comes. We just spotted Sniper, kind of, but not really. That was weird.
Is there a spike? Oh, okay.
Oh wow, he read you. Oh. Joke's on them. You got this. No hunt yet? How's there no hunt? I'm surprised there's no hunt. I would have hunted. You should have hunted like right here.
Okay.
You gotta have a camera, dude. Oh, you fucked it up. You attacked. You messed up your combo, but Sniper killed you in the back line. Got ulti here. A very easy kill. You could have been doing that all game. Have a camera really good here. This is actually really tough with him backing you up. You can see exactly where he is. Alright, now you're dead. Okay.
This is when you thought you were strong and then you died.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a itemization issue, basically. The heart is good to have raw HP, but raw HP doesn't usually help you kill somebody else that's also a carry. That's the problem with the heart rush. Unless you're being backed up. And it also hurt that it was both Dazzle and Dragonite. It's like a support that does a lot of like oomph power. And it's made further worse because if you have like agility items instead of heart, then the minus armor doesn't hurt you as bad as well. So heart was just kind of a rough choice there. You also should have started hitting DK faster. And everyone else was dead at that point, unfortunately. Maybe if you haunt earlier, this doesn't happen, perhaps. Like, imagine if you haunt and, like, go on Dazzle instantly. Or not Dazzle, Sniper instantly. Maybe Skywrath lives a little bit longer and casts more spells, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Skywrath's input in that fight was really weak. He basically tried to kill whatever hero that was down here, Dazzle maybe, and it didn't quite work out. So. The neutral item's alright, but not that great. I don't know, maybe you get an armor item. I don't know, you could have bought AC, Abyssal Blade, Nullifier. I think Nullifier would have been good, but Butterfly would have been kind of okay. Halberd would be the best solution to break Lincolns, typically. Push the wave. Instead of running back here. That was like 200 gold. Instead, you run all the way back to jungle for, let's count the gold. That was 80 gold you just got. Still could have pushed this wave. Then when this wave is up here, you guys would feel comfortable to play here. Still wish you had Blade Mill.
Yeah, I don't think I itemized well this game. My
And
problem
now-
is when I played my previous games, I keep forgetting to use it in the duel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just gotta. It's hard on Legion because you have a lot to do. You gotta press the attack. You gotta Blade Mill. You gotta blink, and then you gotta use ulti. It's tough, but you just gotta get used to it. And now they get to high ground you guys because you have some dead heroes. Prophet's still pushing well. This is good. Oh, somebody got hooked. Not good. That was really well done. Good save, Wyvern. This is great. You guys are pushing outside lanes. Oh, you're just taking buildings. And you suicided? Really? Oh. I thought you got that one.
I know.
That's good.
I face palm when I did that.
Well, what's this haunt? Is this a I'm scared haunt? Yes, it was. It's a big waste.
Oh, okay. I think what happened there was I knew some people teleported top to kill the Nature's Prophet, so I was hoping that if someone stayed and hadn't teleported out yet, I could hunt back to base and kill them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but they actually all backed, so they're like I thought someone would at least go into our jungle, and then
I see.
we could jump them.
I see. That has some value. You gotta cast more spells, Sky. As soon as you see somebody, just like concussive shot minimum. Pushing out bot is great.
Oh.
Doing this really careful.
No, it's. I remember the Winter Wyvern joked about killing me because I was gonna get out in the.
Oh, we all took
Killed you
it.
there with the cold embrace,
Yeah, that's
leaving you behind.
Oh, yeah. You could be hitting neutrals probably. I don't think it's that dangerous. You guys probably should have taken the outpost too. Somebody should be heading top to push. See, you guys are doing the same thing again. Except for here. Pushing really defensively. Until now. It's okay here, I guess. Probably you need a BKB Prophet. You have all this damage, but like almost any disable is going to result in your death.
Is there a time when Nature's is doing this pushing where it's not a good idea to just send all your creeps in to be essentially farmed?
Yeah, he shouldn't have in that case for sure, but it's not that big of a deal. Like right here, he could back them. This is like an extra 100 gold maybe, but this is like a good time for a gem too if you guys feel at all comfortable with it, because it'll help you check where all their wards are. Like they have a gold advantage, but it still feels like you guys can win this game for sure. You did your silent slate again, unfortunately. Still got the kill though, which is great. Now what you should do is say we have a kill, we have options. Take Roche, push out top tower, someone should TP top or push top quickly. Keep all the lanes in basically. You go for Roche, which is great.
So who should take the Roche? I mean, who should take the Aegis? I think I wanted Nature's Prophet to take the Aegis, but I ended up taking it instead.
It's decent on Prophet for sure, because he doesn't have BKB, but I just don't think it's that useful on Spectre because your damage is not so incredible. Like, it's nice to have Aegis in this point when you can like overexert yourself and get a kill on the backline in kind of a dangerous way or two, and then respawn. But I just feel like your items don't really do that very much. Like buying the heart with the Manta just puts you at such like a tank but not damage standpoint, and it makes it hard for you to contribute. I feel like I almost wish you would have gone like Scotty or something even over heart. I feel like that would have been better. Because then when you jump on Sniper in the backline, he's getting less lifesteal and he's stupid slow. Like a Scotty, I feel like would have been just straight up more useful. He loses 40% lifesteal and lowers his attack speed by 50, which is a huge amount. Yes. Yeah, that's right, because he's ranged unit. It's not based on what you are, it's what they are. So something like Scotty, I think, would have done almost the same thing and done more damage and made you more valuable, I think. And then you could have maybe bought like Nullifier or something if you wanted to keep going that route. I think Abyssal is a good idea, but yeah, the Aegis, considering how you've been playing, the Aegis is probably not right anyways. This ward's probably a little too defensive. I'd prefer it more up.
Does Nullifier also remove the pushback from the lance? It's not Dragon Lance. It's
Hurricane Pike.
Hurricane Pike.
I can't remember if it does actually.
So I can still get pushed back, right?
I guess so. Yes, you. Okay. It might work where that you would get pushed back, but he would not. I might be wrong though. I haven't tested that one. It will definitely stop Force Staff though. So you guys have some gold disadvantage, but now you control the map. This is basically what the game should be like almost all the time. Now it looks really solid. You guys have, except for this ward being a little bit too far back, this looks perfect basically. You're throwing your life away here. Never mind. This haunt was
kinda
probably not good because he has BKB. Throw everything. Good silence, but unfortunately you get stunned. It was a good try, but it's over. So this is another example of just a lazy gank attempt. Like, you're not going to kill him with by yourself Prophet. Oops. Like, how do you kill a guy with a BKB with these items? It's not possible. You only stun him for 1.5 seconds. If you do go on him there, and you know he was there, I don't remember how it started exactly, but stay hidden until like 2 more people come. And that way when you initiate, you guys can chain stun him or something like that. Or at least you get more damage before he gets his BKB off. They're just so matched by the... They have so many better items. Like, right-click wise, they're just a lot stronger. So that's basically... It's just like an item... Obviously, there's a lot of play issues, but at this point, it's like really hard for you to match them because your items are not very damage heavy. And you've only been in 11 kills, so your levels in comparison to theirs are probably not even that much better. So you need... Like, the nice thing about Spectre is you don't die often, you keep snowballing slowly. And you kind of need to be a little ahead, and you never really got ahead.
So if we know that like we're like behind in terms of like a team fight, like we can't beat them like straight up, we have 1 Rex down already. Do we just like slow play this out to like 80 minutes or something? Like how do you split push? Like
you definitely don't need 80 minutes to win. What you need to do is force fights when they're out of position, basically. Like you don't want to fight a 5v5 basically, and you want to start your ganks well. So like I said about the Dragon Knight one, don't just start attacking him with Nature's Prophet. That's not going to do anything. He's just going to BKB, and then it's like the fight's bad. It's kind of like the time when the other replay where you blinked in on Tiny, and the Avalanche came out first. That's a really shitty way to start the fight, because he's just going to Force Staff, blink, react, basically. You want to let them know you're there by beginning a chain stun, and then other people follow up on the chain stun until he dies. Like, you guys don't have a stun, which is one of the issues here, but imagine if, like, Skywrath Mage has a Hex. Skywrath Mage comes down, Nature's Prophet uses Bloodthorn while he gets hexed, and then you throw everything on him. Silence, ulti, everything. And maybe he lives with like 20% HP and he pops his BKB. That's already a much better fight than what you guys did. Let me go back 10 seconds and then see how this starts. So this probably was already queued up. but the haunt was bad. I'm glad you went invis, but committing, I don't know. Like, you shouldn't have haunted. I guess jumping over here is kind of good, but ideally, if this was, if with hindsight, I wish you were here, but didn't show, and then everybody just rotates over, and then you just all try to kill him. But almost every one of your guys' fights just start off, like, really weird, where it isn't a good initiation, and it isn't safe. And then you guys think, like, well, we kind of have an opportunity, so let's just force it. You guys keep forcing mediocre or bad fights consistently. Like this, you're running forward, you say, Shadow Blade's gonna run out. I can throw my combo on him. And you finally go for it, but then you mis-execute. I don't know, you threw, oh, that's right, you went to go silence the Dazzle to prevent him from graving. But eventually what happens is you get stunned, and then you just die here. No, nothing happens, basically. But basically you guys are over-forcing, you know? You're using big abilities, you're trying to get this kill, and finally their whole team is here. If you do a sloppy kill, they will eventually probably get to the rest of their team, and then it's not a good fight. But if you just kill him here, or do a ton of damage here, then it's a lot easier to try to burst him down and get it over with. So it's like, mostly you guys are just forcing bad fights pretty constantly. And that's why all these late game moments feel hard. So it's just like, you have to be a little bit more careful with engaging. And now, some more shit's happening, because they decided that it was an okay time to fight, which they were right on. Because everybody had already used a lot of their ultimates. Some people had already retreated. So the fight's just one-sided, because you forced a bad fight. So, maybe a Hex on Nature's Prophet could be helpful instead of this many damage items. Silver Edge, probably fine because of the DK, but you do need more Disable. That's really what you guys are missing, is a way to chain stun. You can't use Wyvern ulti, because then only Wyvern can do damage. Sky could have bought Hex if he was having a better game. He's queuing it up now, but you've missed a lot of kills. Like, if you play Sky mid, you need a lot more kills than this, basically. And now, while you're respawning, play passively, but then push out lanes afterwards. Yeah, this guy really digs a lot. I mean, it's a 20-second cooldown, right? Now they get map control because you guys fed that fight. And now the game's harder because of your vision and your wards are in kind of weird places. Oops, wrong side. Too much jungling. One of you should push the wave. Abyssal is not going to be the solution. Sniper kills you solo now. But you didn't abuse the time period that you had where Sniper or Spectre was just straight up stronger. So that's why the game gets tough. Here's a good time to kill him. He uses BKB, you kite, maybe sprout him, now you guys kill him. This was bad. You shouldn't have used Cold Embrace there. Because that was the moment to try to maybe kill him afterwards, basically. This fight's okay so far. See how much easier it is when Spectre's the guy in the front? Gives everybody else the opportunity to chase, and now it's a good time to do that. Ooh. Well, good ulti at least. He's alive. So almost all these fights are just like sloppy. It's just like a lack of stun and initiation. Good initiation. Okay. Next replay? How much time do we have left?
Yeah, we can move on. I think this game is
got about an hour. Cool. Yeah, I think so too. Third one. Is this a game you guys want to watch, or do you want to watch a different one? Because we probably only have time for one more game.
I feel like we have a lot of problems against techies, so...
Oh, it's a techies game. Okay.
Why am I always the position 1?
That was the flavor of the day, dude.
Actually,
I normally play position 4 or 5. I never play 1.
Can we actually pick a game where I was the carry?
Yeah.
I think I was the games that played. Let me check.
Just tell me the last 3 digits of the replays you sent. Do you guys all have the same ones? Do you know which ones you sent me? Or I'll paste them in the...
I don't actually know which ones he sent you.
Let me check really quick.
Oh, he pasted them in the chat. Or in the Discord. In the general channel. Same ones that he sent me.
Oh, I see.
So if it's one of those, just tell me the last 3. Or just give me the match ID. It's fine. I can just.
Maybe the Juggernaut. 928. Do you have that one?
Yep.
057 also. Both of those.
Either one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, the Gyro game.
You
813.
can do a gyro game.
Yeah, 813. It's the last 3 digits. It's a 30-minute game.
Don't have that one.
Wait, that's not in the list I sent.
Oh, you
Just
didn't?
paste the match ID and I can download it.
Is this a win or a loss?
We lost.
Because if it was like all of the ones from like 2 days ago, I think we lost like all of those.
Yeah, we lost it. Oh, I just pause it to you.
That works. Okay.
Which game is this?
Did you send it, Morgan?
Oh, it's this game. I don't think any of our team have ever played against a Void Spirit.
Avoid?
Since I
Really?
look-
How? Oh, that's right, because you guys are new. I forgot.
Yeah.
Well, we're not. Well, we're new now. Like we started playing a month ago, right? And then we
Yeah,
had like a 3-year break. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we
essentially,
lost.
like
We lost 14 games in a row.
Oh.
I fed relentlessly in this one.
Yeah, I got ultra wrecked mid. I remember this.
I'll be sure to. I'll be sure to tell you 13 times. Like, don't die. Here's an example of you guys where you maybe you can't fight very well with these 3 heroes, but
30 seconds.
I'd prefer that you walk around, for example. I mean, you can throw peppers at them or whatever and shoot your
trying
soccer
to bait
balls,
them in
but
with a high five.
you can harass
Is that
them, you
a
know.
thing?
Yeah, bait them in with
Bait
a
them
high
with a high
five
five.
and then give them the dagger, you know.
That seems wrong.
That's a cask. Cask is not Maledict. It's pretty hard to outzone Ogre Magi though, so I don't blame you too much. So who wants to get flamed first? Mid lane?
Sure.
Just use dagger constantly. There's a hero in your lane, you dagger him. You've daggered approximately 20 seconds too late. Like right now, dagger him. Dagger him right now. Fucking dagger him. But you haven't done it yet. 1.7 mana per second you're wasting. The skill does 200 magic damage. You dagger him, and then you wait until it comes off cooldown, and then you dagger him again. And the only solution he has is pressing Dissimulate to dodge it. But he doesn't have that skill, so you should dagger him. Because it will win you your lane slowly. And he will be less likely to contest for last hits. Also, you don't have the Quap Arcana. What's wrong with you? Come on.
You heard him.
So last hit wise, he's beating you. But he's actually using his skills, you know, to supplement his right click.
Yeah.
Like, if both players only right click, you go about even. But if you supplement your skills, you'll do better. So if you're not daggering, it's just becoming worse. He literally has no threat in his lane. He hasn't taken a single right click yet. Neither have you, but he's last hitting a little bit better than you, so it's fine. It's basically the solution to Quap in all lanes, actually. Just cast dagger right away. Until you zone them. I would maybe scream for this last hit. Only does 75. Okay, that's a little rough. But I am a little blown away you haven't used dagger yet.
Oh, I think I waited for level 2 dagger to start daggering.
Not worth. And so like side lane stuff, that can be the case, but against a melee hero, you should just be bullying him. It does 300 damage instead of 200 damage to the second point. It's good, but it's really good at level 1 too.
Do
And-
you dagger him, Morgan? Haven't
Or
daggered
I
him.
do eventually. Oh god, really?
There you go.
You waited till he was level 4. He was so fucking ready for you to dagger him, dude. He's like probably saying like, why hasn't he tried to dagger me yet?
We're just baiting him, you know, just giving a false sense of security.
Now naturally, once your dagger comes off cooldown, you lose it. There we go. 3 minutes to get a dagger off. All right, we don't need to watch mid anymore. I don't think. You want to watch the other lane? I mean, effectively, what should happen is get as many last hits and denies as you can. Harass him out of lane if possible, getting good opportunities to right click him, but you completely choke that. So I think at this point, watching the rest of the lane is like kind of unnecessary because you've already messed up a lot in that like he's had so much regen that he's dominating you in last hits basically. And the best way you can zone him is by harassing him with spells. So the fact that you haven't been spamming, the fact that you haven't cast a dagger on him like 6 times already is a major issue. Because that's 1200 magic damage that he would have had to deal with. And then some of those times he has to go back and eat a tango, or he has to micro his courier, and that means he gets last hits or denies. But you gave him no reason to focus on anything other than getting last hits and denies, and that's why he's beating you, basically. So not casting dagger or not casting other harassment spells is a really big deal, especially for Quap, who's a lot of her balance is around being able to out-harass with dagger. So that's why it's a big deal. So from here on out, he's going to be a little bit ahead of you. He's going to get last hits, and then he's going to probably kill you because you don't know how his skills work, and then he's going to out-rotate you. So if you're losing your lane by a lot in a mid lane, let's say he's stomping you completely, one thing that you can do is go gank a different side lane. Or let's say he's playing against you, and you're the Quap, and you dagger him so much that he has no regen, and he can't lane, so he jungles a lot. The best thing he can do is get like 6 so that he has some gank potential, and then to go like crush a dual lane somewhere. Gank here, get a double kill, then go back mid and defend. That would be a good thing to do. You could do the same thing. If you're getting crushed, rather than keep giving him kills and go in mid, you can go gank a side lane. Now to do that, you have to be smart. You have to wait till like Witch Doctor's in position, and then you can TP and blink forward. But if like Witch Doctor's standing here, TPing in and then trying to get a kill is messier and harder. Does that make sense? So all the things I've covered about like doing smart ganks, that's what you have to do when you gank. Because if you try to do this and you fail at your gank, then you're in an even worse place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back and watch a laning stage. Let's go watch Witch Doctor level 1 cask again. That harassment was good. Positioning air.
Hooray!
Sniper does 43 base damage on average. He has 2 armor and 285 movement speed. Go over here and crush that guy's spirit or something. Like, you almost killed him just now with 2 right clicks. Like, you guys could just be over there and destroy him. But you're standing behind the creep wave. Like, you're... Okay, you killed him anyways. Like, you played it the wrong way and you still fucking crushed him. Because it is such a bad hero for when he plays like that. Generally, you're supposed to go like boots first. That way you're not as punished by... He even canceled his own... Oh, no, he didn't. Never mind. Did not cancel. Wave is pushing up a bit. Pulling here would be okay. Solo killing Sniper would also be okay. I would try to get close enough to Maledict and then stun after, if possible. Like, maybe go do it there. This is good that you're bullying him while he bullies your gyro. I wish he would have maybe stacked and then gotten ready to pull or something. Oh, this is great. Yeah, that'll be a dead hero. Yep, you guys did this perfect. Alright, one thing you guys know how to do is play Witch Doctor. That's good. Last hit wise, you're struggling a little bit.
I remember I felt like I was getting bullied by the Ogre pretty good.
Yeah, Ogre is a bit of a bully for sure. Just like, he's like impossible to harass basically. The new tower messed you up there.
For the early game build is 2 Wraith Bands and like the standard build.
You mean 2 Wraith Bands Magic Wand? Yes. You're right, that is the build.
Sure, of course.
This is great. Wish you had a Magic Wand here and maybe stun Shrapnel a little bit less. But this is great. I wouldn't have gone 2 cask, I'd go 2 Maledict instead. More damage. Like, the extra cast bounces are probably not important. You need Clarity Potion, Magic Wand, Boots. It's fine, but I wish you had a Clarity. Definitely finish both Wraith Bands before the Magic Stick, typically, but... So here's a perfect example of them contesting a pull. Just try to get as many last hits as possible and denies. If Shrapnel's here, you know that these are going to be taking regular damage. Just like stand here and wait. You kept walking through Shrapnel a little bit too much. But yeah, get the last hits if possible. Ooh, okay, good. He didn't get too many of the last hits, so everything's fine. Start eating tangos. Clear this up, that's fine. This looks pretty good. Iron Branch in. Go for a kill here. It's a pretty easy kill. You should go. You guys should have gone already. Way too late. And cask first is not good. So this didn't work because you were low on mana. If you have Rocket Barrage, he dies, without a doubt. He also is rushing Helm of the Dominator, apparently, so that he can't die. Which is not a terrible idea, but the other reason it didn't work is because you cast first and then Maledicted. If you walk in at the same time, like this is how the gank should start. You're standing here, Gyro casts Missile, and then you walk out and Maledict, and then Cask. That's how it should happen. Because the Missile is coming later. Like, you want all the damage to come right after Maledict number 1, and because Missile has a delay, like if that stun hits Ogre, he hits Witch Doctor less times, and then maybe Witch Doctor doesn't die as quickly, you know? So you guys just, it's like another example of you guys not being clean in a kill attempt.
I think I normally cast first just so I don't miss my Maledict. But I guess if I'm like hidden, it makes it easier to land.
Generally, yes. Like, you're going to miss some Maledicts that way, but like you're going to do so much more damage. Because that Cask hit him like twice or 3 times or something. And maybe you got some of the damage, but you didn't get all of it. So, I don't know. Like, it was kind of good because it was just him in a range creep, but if Gyro was low mana and... like, basically your damage is already really limited because Gyro is low mana. So that's something else you can look at. How much tools are we bringing to this gank? A level 1 Maledict, which is already weak. That's another reason he lived. I'm going to have to stun first, is what you're thinking. And we don't have Rocket Barrage. So now you should be thinking, we have no fucking damage. We have a level 1 Maledict, basically. And right clicks. That's it. That's basically what you guys did. And a level 1 Missile. That's almost nothing. If it's you level 2 Maledict, you Maledict first, and you have a Rocket Barrage, and you Cask after Maledict, that's a completely different gank. So that's why it's easier for me just to say always default to Maledict, basically.
Okay.
It's just almost always easier to say Maledict first, especially against a tanky hero like Ogre. If it's Sniper or Venomancer, fuck it, Cask first. But a tanky ass guy and no Rocket Barrage, you're gonna have to try to do the maximum damage outcome. And you're always going to have to adjust your ganks a little bit based on decisions like this, whether it's 3 minutes in or 50 minutes in. If it's a Dragon Knight with a BKB, you're going to have to change your gank a little bit. Or adjust things to help ensure you get it. And once you play enough Dota, you just kind of intuitively know these things, but this is okay too, but a lot of creeps there. He basically took no damage, so a little bit of a waste of mana. And now that you've failed on ganks like this, by the way, now you've got like 20 seconds until your abilities come off cooldown again, and now Ogre knows he can play aggressively again. So now you've hurt Gyro's last hits by wasting your combo, effectively, at a time that it wasn't good. And now it's basically hard because Gyro hasn't actually gotten his mana back up again. There's almost always a creep wave here, and Ogre is basically untouched. So it's really difficult to harass him through this with his Helm of Iron Will and his extra tangos and stuff. So now it's hard, but if you were a little cleaner, maybe he dies there. That becomes a magic wand for Gyro and some more clarity potions. You know, it all snowballs. But instead, he's probably going to get pretty much whatever he wants here in the lane, and they're going to probably take your tower early based on how this has been going. Again, same thing. Your positioning is bad. You don't need to be here. Be over here. Tranquil Boots. Imagine if you find Sniper. Who cares? Sniper is weak. He's got Tranquil Boots. That's it. He's level 4. You can solo kill this guy almost. Especially if you Maledict first. But instead, you're always sitting behind. That means Gyro has to go head-to-head trying to outlast an Ogre Magi that has somehow just as much armor. And now you finally found him, but again, you're scared. You don't need to be scared, I don't think. Maybe a little scared. It's a little scary with Blightstone and Headshot, but...
I think I played like that just because I was trying to lure him to the neutral creep so I could Cask him.
Oh, I see. It's an okay plan. Why Cask? Now you don't have Cask for 18 seconds.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That one was good. I like this one. Gyro, you should have kept going. Especially with your Mango. I would have kept running down and then Mangoed and Rocket Brushed. Like Ogre... I mean, maybe it's a skill build, but he can't really catch you. You've also got boots now, so you should be fine. Like, by you not going aggressive there, Gyro, you now wasted your Witch Doctor's abilities. That was actually a good go that time. Because you guys went on Sniper and not Ogre. So you not committing to that and realizing it was a good go has wasted his mana and his time. And now it's actually hurt you, because now they were comfortably going you because Sniper was still alive. So you kind of screwed yourself in this moment. Looks like you're going to live maybe, but it was that should have been you guys killing Sniper. or either Witch Doctor or you killing Sniper, you get experience, all that stuff. So what's basically going to happen this game is that Ogre is very tanky and hard to pressure in zone. So you're not going to win the lane, and you're not going to get more last hits than him because he's just tankier, and you guys misexecuted your gank. It's a little bit hard for Gyro to like activate in these because if there's a creep wave, he doesn't do that much. But if you time it good with Missile, then it's a little bit easier. And something else you could do, honestly, you could get more points in Missile than Rocket Barrage as well. I mean, it does 75 extra damage per level. It's nothing compared to Rocket Barrage, obviously, but it's an option. You could go like 2-2-1 or something. Every time he does a Maledict combo, you turn on Flat Cannon, you shoot a missile, and you attack him a couple times, you know. Things like that would be options. But this wasn't like catastrophic or anything, but it could have gone a lot better.
But I shouldn't have been in like the low health and low mana to begin with, because I was playing more scared. Right?
Do you mean on Gyro?
Yeah.
Are you talking about right now when you're low?
Yeah, right now, because like in both those engagements, I was on like half health, like half mana.
This one was that was the one you got lowered here because you were running away that one time. That was after you almost killed the sniper. You could have killed the sniper, but you chose not to engage, and then you were over here, and then sniper walked up, put a shrapnel in front of you, and they both went on you. So it was like, it wasn't really because you were low HP because of that engagement. You definitely could have killed the sniper before. Do you want to watch it again and go back and show you?
No, that's good.
Okay. Alright, now we're getting to the point of the game where not only because you've lost a lane, but as Gyro a little bit, that you basically need to ditch. And one of Gyro's problems is that jungling is not super efficient for him. It helps to like stack camps and stuff like that, but he's not the quickest jungler. So it's a little harder for him. Because basically your single target damage is okay, but not great. Your AoE is good, and Rocket Barrage is not that great at killing neutrals, so this is why you kind of feel aimless here. Now Ogre just gets to do whatever he wants. If you're 6, that's a kill. I would never do this skill build personally, 3-2. I would always go 2-0-3. If you want to skip Voodoo, it's fine, but always max Maledict first, in my opinion.
Okay.
At basically anything other than pro level. Some pros might do this. Like if there's a game where I'm like, let's say like we're getting dumpstered in the lane and I know we're probably not going to get a kill and my carry doesn't have much burst because it's a Spectre or something, maybe I'll go more Cask because I know that I'm not going to be able to get close enough to Maledict because they'll punish me really well. Maybe those games I don't max Maledict, but 95% of the time I max Maledict, and especially in pubs. There's so many people will get out of position and you will be able to use Maledict to get kills. This is a kill, I think. This is great. Good force on this one. Now you run for your life, basically. What? Okay. Sniper mad, I guess.
I like work. I think I remember this.
It was worth it. Okay.
I think that game we creeped the sniper because we just kept. Well, we killed him several times.
Yeah.
And we were really aggressive on him, so. Yeah.
Okay, and now we shift into playing offlane, basically, is what you should do on Gyro. Set up a gank. But it seems like the offlane went bad, so let's go see what happened. So ward is a little redundant because you're already standing here. This is good, though. Keep pounding tangos, you're missing HP. And you should be over here. You're letting him beat you a little bit. Like you're messing up a lot by staying over here. Blind is not a good fighter. He's much worse than you because you're reducing his damage by 20 with Fade Bolt. And his nuke only does 80 damage also, so you just kind of beat him. Alright, you're walking. This was a really big mistake by you. So as soon as it's just creeps, because you're the squishy of the two heroes, it's okay for Centaur to do this if you're right-clicking line, but as soon as you walk to like this position, you're out of position. Because you're the squishy hero, and they're going to be able to stun you. And as soon as this guy starts hitting you, then you really screwed up. But at that point, it was a little bit too late. Interesting choice. Did you do that because it stuns more for the ground hit? Or is that a misclick?
That was a misclick, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys could have killed him otherwise.
Because it did-
So the reason that this should have gone worse for you, I think, but I felt like you were gonna die there, but then I think Lion ran away too far or something like that, stopped right clicking, just like things like that. Not quite sure. Generally, you still need to play side though. You should be hitting this Wraith King every time he comes from a last hit. Like, see this? He just got an attempt at a last hit and you didn't right click him one time. Same thing. He's up here hitting creeps, you're not doing anything. You're just letting him get whatever he wants. Lion mana drains, but they don't get any. There's no punishment. You could have side pulled. Which would have messed up the equilibrium and forced the creep wave. The creep wave would have gotten cleared by tower, and then it would have been reset somewhere over here instead. And then you would have better opportunities to right click. But you haven't right clicked as Rubik in probably a minute.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I think I was just afraid for some reason from the Lion's stun every time. Like, they couldn't really do much, but...
You really don't. You don't need to be. You just gotta know. Like, I get that you guys haven't played in a while, but you just gotta know the strengths of the heroes. And Lion's just really not that strong. He's basically. I mean, he has way less armor than you. You've got 5 armor, so your armor's higher. You can push him out of position with telekinesis, and he's slower than you, I believe. 290. Yeah. Actually, he's got a windlace. That's why he's a little faster. But basically, you can also lift him and throw him into your centaur stun. So like, it's way scarier for him. The problem is just you haven't been doing an amazing job trading against him, so it hasn't always been good. This is good, right click. Now your salve is going, which is good. You just sat back a little bit too much. Like, see how low Wraith King is right now? Imagine if you would have right clicked him like 15 more times, or even 10 more times in the laning stage. He'd be out of regen. And then he wouldn't be getting last hits. So even if you hadn't bullied Lion effectively, you should have bullied the Wraith King better, for sure. Then you guys stacked your stuns, unfortunately. Otherwise, that would have gone slightly better. But at least he died. That was technically good for you guys, even if he got the kill first. Because as long as the carry's dying, that's solid. Definitely time to side pull. Oh no. Oh, you went for bounties. Okay, that's good too. You could have probably side pulled and then bounties though, because the wave is pushing and you saw where Lion was. So you could have gotten both, I think. I don't think it's that worth it to get Arcane Supremacy pre-6 right now. I might be wrong, but you get a lot more stun duration. So now the lane is basically hard because he's gotten Tranquil Boots, because you kind of gave him a good lane. He's gotten 1 kill. And he hasn't been punished that much, so he basically dumped all of his money into Tranquils. He didn't need other regen because you didn't really trade him very well. Let's see what items you have, though. Oh, you have boots already, too. I don't know, but now that he has Tranquils, it's like impossible to win the trade battle. But it's like also insane that he has Tranquils so fast. This is really bizarre. This is great. You know, if you had a magic wand, you definitely could have fade bolted. I hear some crackling noise. Don't know what it is. Somebody trying to talk back to me, I think. Okay, so at this point, basically, you guys got low on regen. This is like one of those moments where you needed to have more regen ready to go, or you needed to go back and heal, because now you can't really contest very well. But you guys were like close to winning this lane, genuinely. You just needed to lane a little bit better, I think. Oh, that was great. Really good kill. Oh no, then you both died. Well, if you didn't die there, Void Spirit would have killed you.
Yeah. And I think after this, we wanted to kill the Wraith King before he had his ult, and then we never did. And then by the time we'd killed him again, he was already level 12 and kind of out of hand.
Okay. This is good. I like the pressure. Great.
Does he get away? Like, oh no.
What is the best way to play against Wraith King right now? Are there any like picks that go well against him? Just because right now Wraith King has like an insanely high win percentage.
Is it really that high?
I think it's like 60 across the board.
You're lying to me. I don't see him.
I think like BSJ was complaining. Oh, it's only 50. Oh, at what bracket?
I see. Yes,
Yeah,
he does
he's-
beat you guys often. So Divine is not that bad. You guys are probably not harassing him enough in lane a little bit. He's like one negative of Wraith King right now is that you have to basically hit people. You have to skill like Vampiric Aura and Mortal Strike because it gives you damage and farming speed. But that means that you're kind of bullied by range heroes. Like his armor is really not that high. It's quite low. So I would say that if you did a little bit better job right-clicking and harassing, he would run out of regen faster. And then what's also working with him at low MMRs is that with literally just levels, you can power jungle really easily. So like I said, if you guys are weak at pressuring the map and the game becomes passive, he's always going to get farmed. And he's also good at making mistakes. He's really easy to play too. He throws stuns, he runs in, he dies sometimes, but it doesn't matter because he respawns. So he's like very noob friendly. That kind of like fixes a lot of the issues that kind of happen. So that's probably why his win rate's good. If you guys pressure him in lane pretty easy, it's not bad. And if you itemize well and get like some minus armor, he's really not that strong either. It helps to have a little bit of AoE so he doesn't split push with skeletons a little bit. But other than that, like he's definitely beatable for sure. But he probably just wins because of Reincarnate and fast farming speed is basically it. And because you guys aren't pressuring quite efficient enough. If you have 2 points in left there, it's a little bit easier to execute that, by the way. It's another thing. You lose 14% damage, but it's probably worth it, I think. Alright, what's going on? You got our...
That we were close to winning our lane was like kind of surprising because it really felt like it was hard. Like I was just getting sucked. I was getting slapped by a crit. It's just
yeah,
it
but
didn't feel very good. But
line managing is really not that big of a deal. Is the thing though. It feels bad, but like basically line managing works well if you don't do a good job laning. Basically, it works really effectively if you guys don't attack or kill as often as you should. But if you just kill people, then you're gonna have more items that like refill your mana, and then you realize like, oh, getting mana drained isn't that big of a deal when we just fucking kill a lion. You know, like you guys could lift and throw him into a stun is what it feels like. Or if you pressure Wraith King more and he gets like 10 last hits here, and Centaur gets 10 more last hits, and lion mana drains you a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. If that makes sense. Like you basically didn't right click for the first like 3 minutes, except for like that first little engagement. So if those right clicks had come out, you guys would have won the lane probably. But you just slightly lost it because he got like a double kill. And Centaur is just a little bit passive. That makes it harder too. He's not as good. Like the value of Centaur in pro games typically is that he has really high base damage. So against lower base damage heroes, it's easier for Centaur to just outlast hit them, and therefore just have like a lane advantage from that alone. And he was good at cutting creeps. But and it is good that you have a stun into a stun. You guys could definitely get kills, but it's just a little bit hairy, I would say, against a Wraith King. You maybe should have lifted there. Sorry?
what's like the right skill build for Centaur? Is like the 113, is that
Yep,
okay?
that's right.
Or...
That's basically that's right, yeah. It's typically the right thing. Oh, he should have kept fighting for sure. Also, if you would have committed and used your third skill, you would have gone kill, I think. When he got Hellfire Wraithfire Blast, it kind of changed everything. Like, you should use Retaliate here, in my opinion, and started slapping. Maybe I'm crazy. He does have a wand and you don't, so that kind of makes it hard, but you probably also didn't know that there would be a Wraithfire Blast. I don't know, maybe it would have been close. Yeah, and he would have reincarnated, actually. Yeah, that would have been bad. But here's the issue, basically, is that he's got lifesteal and right-click, so it's offsetting your aura. It's just a lot easier for you guys to kill a line repeatedly, but he hasn't really died that much, so it makes it harder. You're a little low in mana still, unfortunately. Now you're like trying to do something, but like there's just been really long periods of the time in this laning stage where you haven't had HP or mana. is what it feels like, and those just serve to like buy Wraith King time to like delay the game, you know. So let's go back and watch this at a faster speed, because I feel like this is the main issue. That in some of these moments where even when you're like, obviously there's a lot of not right clicking enough issues here on Rubik. This buys him time. He hasn't used a single tango yet, and we're 2 minutes in. He almost dies here, does not die. Eats his first tango. Gets his magic wand right away. Like, this was like the only time that he was zoned from the lane, it feels like. Doesn't get right-clicked here. Getting free last hits, or free attacks, which gives him lifesteal. Still not being right-clicked. He's not even eating tangos efficiently. Like, he's so abusable. He's making so many mistakes, actually. Like, he hasn't eaten a tango in like 20 seconds. Now, a little bit low mana Centaur, but you've got mangoes. You guys should have killed this guy here. Gone on him there with a lift or something. He's just not being abused enough. He's just getting more last hits, basically. And now everybody's really low. You should have been using tangos this whole time, Centaur. This is a big mistake. You didn't start eating until right now. So now you're basically zoned out of lane for another 45 seconds. This actually is why you died first, now that we look back on it. Imagine if you had eaten a tango earlier and you go for that kill. You stay alive, Wraith King dies. Continue eating tangos, continue getting last hits. You should get these last hits, Rubik. Okay. You did eventually, but... Bring out Clarity Potions. You being low mana here is a big issue, because now it's harder to get a kill. So this would be the period of time where it feels like you're just getting drained and right-clicked and stuff. But if you bring out more regen items and stay full health, then it's easier to stay. And you also didn't, you brought out boots, but you didn't bring out more regen. So now you're at a half HP, so it just feels hard to fight. So like, if you guys just did a lot of small things like this that just make it hard to like actually win the lane. This was good, but he just keeps barely surviving.
Oh, you got a wand, that's why.
He bought that right away, yeah. That was his first item. And in those moments, it like helped keep him alive. And here you guys are, really low HP again. Now just buying tangos. Like, if this is a turbo, this would have been fine, because the Curse would have brought the regen already, but... And you guys are winning some of these fights, which is great, but it's like they're all really close to... going not well enough. And in the meantime, he's still getting a lot of last hits. Which keeps on happening. And on the other side of the map, remember what happened? Gyro had a rough time, so... Did you guys win this game?
No. We
Okay.
got stomped in like 30.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you guys lost 3 lanes in, so... But you were close. You were close to winning, like... This lane was, like, more one-sided, I would say, but it was, like... You could have crushed Sniper a little bit harder, I feel like. Both of these lanes were, like, close to winning. They, like, coin flipped effectively, and you lost both. And then, you know, we didn't cast any daggers mid, so that lane was lost too. But the other lanes were close. So, like, even though the game was a stomp, it's just because it was a little bit bad, and then you didn't have great heroes for coming back in the game, and they could easily passively farm. They had good catch. They had kind of good everything. Probably bought
So
Midas
is there
and got
anything that
really
we
farmed.
can do in like the between like the 10 to 20 minute mark to like we know we're losing or we're not doing well? Like how do we like claw back into it?
Let's find out. Quap ganking is a great option. Not using your ulti like that is great, because if you go turn this into a kill on a side lane, much better chance you guys catch up. Basically, you need to set up ganks, and it's kind of hard with the heroes you have. Like Rubik and like Centaur is kind of a weak hero in the sense that like he's not somebody that's like, oh, I'm just gonna go get a solo kill with my ultimate. It's like you have to combo it with somebody else to be effective. Now you've come to lane, you lost half your HP. You like basically need somebody else to help you try to get a kill. So I would say I wouldn't be surprised if his win rates are really low. Tell me if I see a centaur, guys. Let's start at the bottom. He's probably not going to be super high win rate, I assume.
There's no search.
I don't think so.
Oh, 42.
It's
48. 50. Oh.
No, position 42.
Oh, I see.
It's okay. It's like utterly average, basically. Which I'm not too surprised on. I don't know if Centaur's ever had stupid high win rate. It's been a while. Not since he could solo kill people with Stampede. But you basically need to you need to like win the lane with help from somebody else coordinating to throw them into Hoof Stomp, and then you get a bunch of right clicks in. It's like mechanically not a super easy hero to get like tons of kills in the lane with. And Lion did a pretty decent job throwing stuns all the time, and Wraith King just hits creeps. So his setup was just pretty straightforward. This kill was great. If you guys get it, how did he do that so many times? Okay, you killed him. That's a great way to get back in the game. So easiest way to do this is probably Witch Doctor, because he's so good at facilitating ganks. Again, more Maledict than Cask, please. That way you have a higher chance of getting kills. Do a smoke gank with Witch Doctor and Centaur. That'd be a really good option, because then you could Stampede to run both forward. It'd be easier to grab kills. You could basically like run forward, stun Lion, and do a combo on him, and just make sure you both spread out. That way you don't both get stunned by Earthspike. Some of these times Gyro can be in these ganks, but Gyro doesn't farm as quickly passively as the other heroes do. Like Wraith King can literally go AFK jungle right now and there's no issues, but Gyro has to keep bringing himself clarity potions, for example. You should also not tank these creeps in melee range. Walk back to here and just attack move in and out, and then your HP won't be so low. Also, using mangoes to jungle is a huge mistake. Well, that might have been a free mango, so maybe it didn't matter. I don't. Maybe that was the mango tree you planted, but clarities instead. You get way better mana per gold than what you do with mangoes. Same thing here. Walk them out so that they have to run back and forth. Then you don't lose as much. But effectively, jungling on Gyro here is bad. You could instead be top, getting last hits here, where the Witch Doctor is. And then Witch Doctor doesn't necessarily feel like he has to be here. He could go gank with his team. Or maybe you go run bottom with full health and mana and help pressure the tower. Ooh, that was rough. They have really good ward vision here. Having sentries is helpful, of course. Yeah, I think that was a free mango, actually. Killing this guy is really hard, and you're kind of wasting time running at him. That looks like a kill. Oh yeah, that's definitely a kill. Ooh. That was surprisingly good, considering. Still no magic wands. Oh! We got one! Proud of you, Witch Doctor. Oh, what a Maledict. Yes. Everybody wants to go in there like, this is too amazing, I have to do it.
There's a sniper back there.
Ogre will die. Oh no, you're low HP from the neutrals, so you can't get your solo kill. JK. It's not bad. I mean, you guys are getting shit on, but it's not. You're kind of winning. Oh man, you guys are really far behind. This is basically just because you guys lost your lanes, because you lost your harassment equilibrium, and they have good heroes for just sitting in their lane. Like Ogre's already tanky, and he buys Helmet Dominator. He's not gonna die, except for against Maledict and Rocket Barrage. That could kill him potentially, but so yeah, that was issues here. Let's accelerate a little bit. Let's see what else you can do. This gank attempt was weak. They always have vision advantage over you guys. This helps solidify the stomp. Everyone's jungling. Gyro spent all game like guzzling clarities and eating tangos to jungle.
You died here, Tim?
No.
Oh.
I checked. I was very like.
But it shouldn't even get close, you know. And the amount of gold that you've gained net worth wise in like 5 minutes has been almost nothing, and that's why they're blowing you out of the water right now, because you retreated from the jungle and you tried to jungle, and Gyro does not jungle very rapidly.
So in this scenario, with my tier 1 down, I stay in the lane and farm between that little area.
I mean,
in the lane.
You could potentially, if they're not there. If they show up, you have to go somewhere else. But you could do something like push top until Ogre shows up, and then just TP bottom and go push and team fight with your team. Because it's not like your hero doesn't do really good damage, even with low farm. Like, Rocket Barrage is insane. It's 660 damage every 5.5 seconds. So, like, if you're there to do damage on a Maledicт guy, that guy's going to die. Minimum, you can ulti and do a bunch of AoE damage. But you can't jungle on your hero, so you need to, like, win the lane a little bit, or you need to go to a lane where nobody is, and then when they show up, then you go somewhere else that is useful and become like a pushing team fight thing to do a fight around the tower. Because if you're there against Wraith King, you can definitely help kill this guy. Because if you run away from him while using Rocket Barrage, he's just taking shitloads of damage. So you probably should have utilized your levels better than just jungling. I'm glad you bought Clarities, but you're losing way too much. So basically, you guys weren't stabilizing because the lanes were so one-sided. It's just going to get worse when they have Midas and stuff. Witch Doctor and Rubik should play together, basically. That's another really good thing to do. Don't take farm from the same place. This should be like, you've got Stampede, Stentor, Rubik, Dazzle, or Witch Doctor. You guys should kill somebody together. Not run around aimlessly, like, looking for a fight. Like, all three of you guys can easily kill this guy if you run at him and deward. But you're not dewarding super well. You need to buy way more sentries is another thing that you guys are not doing. You'll buy like 1 or 2 sentries, you'll check for the spot, and it's not there, you're like, eh. But there's going to be a ward somewhere, you know? That's what you got to remember. They're going to have a ward somewhere in this area, probably, if they're playing there. So buy like 2 or 3 sentries, because even if you only get 1 ward, you'll cover most of the costs, and now you can like do really easy aggressive things. Like, that's what it unlocks, is the ability to gank this guy as if you have a smoke. If they have no wards here, all 3 of you guys just walk this way, you run down, you walk this way, and then you fucking kill Wraith King twice. Easily. But if you don't buy 3 or 4 sentries, that's not guaranteed. But it is if you buy the sentries. Deward here, deward here, deward here. You got the ward. It's somewhere there, probably. And then Wraith King can't do this shit by himself. And if he does, he gets killed twice. He's still gonna die twice. Oh god, no, guys, no. No. Oh no. Okay, it worked. But what do we call this? A sloppy ass gank, right?
Sending a message.
Oh no. Don't we all die?
I
It
can
looks
get a
like
message
it.
to the other team that they can kill him.
This is a free game.
Dude, 2 people killed like almost their entire team. Feels bad.
This is a good clip to end on.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to watch this replay anymore. That was wow. Yeah, he really little misexecution there, of course, and he stays alive, and now he's got basically Radiance is done. And now that you guys are so far behind. Quapia net worth is not that bad actually. Generally you don't need to max Shadow Strike all the way. By the way, you can get up to like 3 if you're spamming a lot in lane. You can max it first, sure, but once the laning stage is semi-over, probably get Blink maxed a little faster. Just a small tip, but generally this is all good, except for the lack of wand. But yeah, you guys all just lost the lane, and then you felt like you had a jungle, and you didn't have a good jungling hero, so, and then your guys' ganks weren't quite executed well. So that's all. That's why you got stomped here. It felt like a lot at the end, but it was really just a couple small things. You just slightly harder to execute heroes than Centaur and Rubik, and heroes that can defensively jungle when you're behind. That's all. That's why you got stopped. So, technically not a big deal, right?
So in this case, like, if we had, like, if you could change, like, a hero or 2 in this, like, who would you change? Just so, like, if a couple of us are trying to pick up new heroes or something, like, what would you suggest in this situation?
I mean, you can make it work with your lineup is what I'm thinking. You just needed to be able to kill the offlaners more. Like, genuinely, I think your games are going to feel so different when you start playing your supports in this area. In the safe lane especially. You guys generally play too safe in the safe lane. If you play your supports in this area, and you try to focus their their supports for a lot of the kills, it's going to feel really simple. Like, remember the Witch Doctor Weaver game? You guys could kill so many times. It could have been exactly the same this game. And then once you snowball off of that, you can start killing the Ogre if it's the right circumstance. Like, if there's not too many creeps left, then you go to Maledict, combo him with Rocket Barrage. But it's just hard for you guys. Like, I would say Gyro is a bit weak here in the sense that it's hard for you to burst down Ogre if he stands in a creep wave, because the only way you deal damage is when he's separate. So if I could swap out any hero, I would pick some carry. Not that a lot of other carries do like tons of damage on the laning stage, but Gyro has the like issue that it's very situational. It's slightly situational when you can do damage. So some other carry that could do damage more easily might be more useful, but a lot of the other ones lose that damage potential by having less disable or whatever else. You know what I mean? Like maybe Luna's better, for example, because then you have Lucent Beams, something like that, to do better damage potential. But everything else works fine. Just, you guys just misexecuted. You played it bad. That's all. I think you definitely could have won with your heroes. You almost won 2 lanes, and mid lane was lost, and I don't know. Quap needs to probably... we didn't really see what happened after the laning stage, but... And you have more net worth than the rest of your teammates, but probably needed to be like, you clear a creep wave, then you go jungle. Like, maxing Shadow Strike, for example, is probably why you got underfarmed. Like, you're Shadow Striking to kill a lane creep, you know? Because that feels like that's all you can do. So, if you're having a rough time, or you're not going to out-harass him, max Scream of Pain first. That way you can at least kill creep waves and utilize your mana to push. But instead you're sitting here slowly auto-attacking, and this guy's walking around using AoEs to actually get ahead. Ah, this is how you died that one time. You started maxing Scream here now, but like having less Scream levels. Here's another example again where you didn't see the creep wave, so you backed. Should have kept going. Go next wave. Just small inefficiencies like this. Maybe it didn't matter because you went Shrine or Rune, but same thing. Wave is gone and you walk away again. Stay here, get last hits. If you want to gank bottom, maybe blink or something. I don't know. Maybe it's okay to do this, but should be on intreads to do damage. But now you walked all the way bottom and you got nothing done. This is like part of the reason you guys were so behind. Just moves like this. So I think you had the most stable game actually, Quap. You just needed to farm better and waste less time rotating. If you guys have sentries as well and Quap does these rotations, it's more likely to go well. But they played passively because they saw her walk down here. So that's another thing. They put so many words in this lane. And also, if possible, if you feel like they react differently, like for example, if you walk down and they play really defensive, you can probably assume they have a ward, and then remember which way you walked, and say, I think there's maybe a ward here. Put a sentry here, fly your courier over here, look for either a ward here or somewhere over here, and boom, you get 2 wards because they're stupid. And then at least, even though you wasted your time, then you get a D ward out of it, which is a little bit valuable. If that makes sense.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything else that you guys want to go through in this replay?
I don't think so.
No, not really.
Okay. We are basically at the 4-hour mark now. So any other generic questions or things that you guys want me to answer? I'm willing to give you guys another like 10 minutes or something. So feel free to ask whatever. If you got anything on the top of your head.
I do not.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else does though.
I learned that I need to buy more sentries and wands. That's my big takeaway.
Yeah.
Well, everyone just buys a wand. Ward better.
Gonna watch his
D ward better.
Make it a tricky.
D ward better, yeah.
Yeah,
Buy better items.
You can probably watch the Twitch VOD, but I'll probably upload a YouTube video of it as well. Minimum.
Okay.
That way, either unlisted or not, and I'll send you guys the link. That way you can watch it
Cool.
in the future. Yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else, or is that it?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks a lot for signing up, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for helping us out.
Yeah, happy
Thank
to do
you.
it. Thanks for letting
Keep
me
up the great
stream
work.
as well. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right.
you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.